KWQC First Alert Weather Team.
It's a pretty big step and a pretty big statement from both the American president.
We interrupt this program to bring you live severe weather coverage from the KWQC First Alert Weather Team.
Hi, First Alert meteorologist Kyle Dickens here. We do have a new warning. We're going to come in and do a cut-in here just to let you know about this warning because we're already starting to see things really evolve here. So right now, just to break it down, we got a tornado watch that has been issued for the entire TV6 viewing area with the exception of Knox County. That's a formality. As things start to evolve, we'll probably see that warning, or excuse me, that watch rather, extended. But you can see here, we do now have a severe thunderstorm warning that takes it into parts of Clinton County and also Jackson County, and that is for what is marked a tornado possible here. And you can see storms have really fired up quickly. It is exactly what we expected to happen. There is a front that has moved in. We're already starting to see some hail cores, lots of lightning with this, and some rotation too. I want to go also into the metro because over the next, we're talking here probably next 15, 20 minutes, we do have a cell. It's not severe at this time, but it is going to be heading into the metro. And as it continues to grow, we do have to keep an eye on that. But let's go to the information here on that warning up to the north here and get some more information on that. And one thing I want to show too is satellite. You can see, look at all these cells popping. We've got something happening here just north of the Quad Cities too. So very fast evolving situation. We'll go back to radar and show you, again, I'm going to kind of slide up here to the north and go into this storm here that is now warned. To give you the information on that severe thunderstorm warning. So the latest information is Cedar, Johnson, Jones, Lynn County, also Clinton County. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's in effect until 2 p.m. But again, the key note here is what we've got here, and that is that this is tagged as a tornado possible. So we're in a very conducive environment, not only for destructive winds, maybe as high as 80 miles an hour. We can see hail up to the size of golf balls, maybe even baseballs in some of these storms. And then tornadoes are certainly going to be a possibility here. So just got a new update there. Holding with that 60-mile-an-hour wind threat, tornado possible with this. This is going to take it into the Maquoketa area. Here's Lost Nation and that western part of Jackson County here, an area that was just hit Tuesday by tornadic storms. We've got another round that is going to be heading through, maybe 2 rounds that we're going to be watching closely. So we're watching that here, folks. But again, there is that cell. Just southwest of Mount Vernon is the area of circulation. We're going to dive into it just a little bit deeper here. Give me 1 second as we take a look at this. And you can see, not great here is, again, timing-wise, this is going to put it into our viewing area here right at probably about school dismissal time, I think, here in the metro. So heads up to you folks that have students. Might be a good time to go pick them up as things are evolving very fast. You can see, look at how quickly, too. I want to stop things here and show you just how fast this is evolving. And we go back to 12:30. There was nothing. And then all of a sudden now we have severe thunderstorms with possible rotation within them. So very fast evolving situation, and we do have circulation right here too. And so let's do this. Let's give some times of arrival so you folks in Jackson County and Clinton County know exactly when this is going to be impacting you. So we'll take a look at that speed. And right now that storm is moving off to the east at about 50 miles an hour. These are very fast moving storms. So the key today, as we get more warnings and more storms fire up, the keynote is you need to take the warning seriously right away because, again, they're going to be moving pretty quickly here. So let's get some times here, and this is when you could expect it impacting your hometown if you live up in Clinton County, Jackson County. We're talking Anamosa here about 1:15, Mechanicsville close to the 1:30 time frame. Then we get into Oxford Junction about 1:45, then 1:56 there for Otter Creek. Maquoketa, right about 2 o'clock is when we expect this possible severe storm here if it continues on its current path and course. And I can tell you, areas north of I-80, but especially along and north of Highway 30, this is a very conducive environment for tornadoes and destructive winds here. So we're going to continue to keep you updated here throughout the duration of the afternoon. I expect more warnings here in the next several minutes here. We might get some tornado warnings too as things evolve here. So we're going to be here covering it. And once we get to that point where we get some, see an uptick in that activity, get some more warnings, we will cut in and stay on with you as this is going to be a pretty active afternoon. So going back here, here's what we're tracking. Again, look at that storm 2. That's going to be clipping parts of kind of the northern part of Jackson County, Joe Daviess County, Dubuque area as well. Get ready for that. And then again, we're also watching this cell down here into the metro. Right? It's not doing anything. It's nowhere close to being severe, but it is something that needs to be watched. It is going to be heading right into the metro. That could be just your garden variety thunderstorm. Again, we've got more activity on the way. Again, tornado watch is in effect until 8 o'clock for the entire viewing area with the exception of Knox County. But again, as the night progresses, we'll probably see Knox County added into that. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect here for Cedar, Clinton, and Jackson County here until 2 p.m. Again, tornado possible with that. We'll stay with you here throughout the afternoon. And again, if any new warnings are issued, we will jump in and let you know.
For the latest weather information, stay with KWQC TV6, online, on air, and everywhere you go with the TV6 First Alert Weather app.
Every industry.
All right, we're back with you here. I'm First Alert meteorologist Kyle Dickens, and if you're joining us here on our live stream, we are tracking storms, and we do have a storm that's getting ready to move into the metro Quad Cities. It is not severe. We're not too concerned with that one yet. What we are concerned with is what is now moving into the northwestern part of our viewing area. Let's jump over to the warnings right now. And where everything is at right now. We've got warnings in effect for Cedar County, Clinton County, Jackson County, now a little bit of Joe Davies County, and also into Dubuque County. We're concerned about these storms. They're severe thunderstorm warned at this time, but I can tell you they carry that tag that says there is a tornado possible with them. That is certainly the concern, and that's going to be the concern as we head further into the afternoon. What we have now is from this point till about 3, 4 o'clock, we're in a pattern that's conducive for tornadic activity, and even the possibility is on the table that we could see maybe some strong tornadoes. So we are very concerned about this. In fact, there is a tornado watch for the entire KWQC viewing area. You see that in that dark red there. That watch is in effect until 8 p.m. Knox County, you're not included under that. You're the only county that is not included. And again, I keep saying this, that's really just a formality at this point. Because what we're, again, as things evolve, we will likely see at minimum a severe thunderstorm watch or maybe another tornado watch extended off to the south and east. So that is what we're tracking there. We're going to get in here in just a moment here and get some, kind of give you an update on the latest warnings and exactly what time everything is, but we're getting some new updates here. Okay, they continue that severe thunderstorm warning. They are upping the hail on this a little bit too, so we're going to be crossing into maybe some nickel-sized hail, so we'll be watching that closely. But again, very volatile afternoon. We expect it to be a busy one. We expect to be on the air here throughout the duration of the afternoon to keep you ahead of these storms. So once again, if you're just joining us here, we've got a tornado watch that's in effect until 8 p.m. for the entire KWQC viewing area, with the exception of our far southeastern county, that's Knox County, but again, that'll be extended. Now we've got these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 2 p.m. This is going to be for, again, Jackson County, also Clinton County. You are also under this warning. So again, that is what we're tracking right now. It is a very active pattern here, and I can tell you this, folks, this is all evolving super rapidly. And it's, again, going to be a very bumpy afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and we're working on getting radar pulled up here. Give me one moment as we continue to.
Eric is on max 1, and then you can get max 2 now. You might have to.
Okay, yeah, yep, that's fine. Yep. So, okay, Deanna, thank you. Okay. Put max 2 in there in router 2, that'd be great. So we continue with those warnings. We're going to be, as we're getting things adjusted here a little bit behind the scenes, you can see the model there. This shows how things are going to evolve. There's radar, and again, we got that storm, got that cell that's in place, kind of parked right over top of the metro, but not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is that warning that you see on your screen. Cedar, Johnson, Jones, Lynn County, also Clinton County is also included under that. That is until 2 p.m. for 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-sized hail, but also you see that tag there, tornado is possible. So that is the concern, and that is why we're concerned. That's why we're on here. Again, we're going to kind of track these. So bear with me here as we get logged in and get everything situated here, as again, things evolve pretty quickly, as I always do with with this type of situation here. And so we are good. And I'll take a look at some of your questions too as we log in and get everything set up. But again, right now we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in place, and that is again for Cedar, Johnson, Jones, Lynn, and Clinton County. Then also that new warning that was issued that I'll slide up to here in just a moment is also including parts of Joe Davies County and Dubuque County right now. So we're getting logged in here, and
Eric wants to know what max you're going to be on.
2.
Okay.
Yep, he can be on 1. I'll be on 2. So cool. Thank you. All right. Let's get logged in here. I'm going to kind of move radar around, put some tracks on this, and folks, we're going to get going on this again. As this is fast evolving here. All right. And again, if you're in the metro, you notice the clouds are starting to really cloud up, and things might look a little dark to the southwest. Nothing to be too concerned with at this point, but we want to zoom in to that storm as, here we go, we got radar back, and here's the evolution of this line to the northwest of the Quad City viewing area. That is taking again, this is concerning in a couple ways. One being we've got evolution of these storms in an area that's very conducive for tornadic activity today. So these storms, as they get going, we want to watch for these hail cores. Hail is a possibility, no doubt, within these, but also where there's hail, there's an updraft, and that's where we would find a tornado. So I'm going to take a look at this one northwest of Tipton here in a moment, but what I want to do now is now we know exactly how fast this thing is moving, and that's about 50 miles an hour. They're very fast-moving storms, and now that we got this initial line kind of evolving here, I'm going to take things right about there, And here you go. Dubuque 125 is when you could expect the leading edge of this line of nasty thunderstorm activity to move in. Cuba City 145. We're into Galena about the same time, 145. And then at the top of the hour, about 2 o'clock, get ready in Maquoketa as this is going to be moving into town. Darlington a little bit after 2 o'clock, you can expect that. Unfortunately, this is some of the same areas that were just impacted by the severe weather on Tuesday. So not a good situation up there. Again, here's the current warnings and watches, that tornado watch in effect for a good chunk of the area here. Let's advance through here, and I'm going to show you, go back to radar and see exactly what, we'll get some more information on that warning here for parts of Dubuque County and also, okay, here we go, into Joe Daviess County. So this warning is until 2:15. Again, we've got hail up to the size of maybe $half sized hail with that. 60-mile-an-hour winds and a tornado is possible with that, so we're tagged that way. We have to watch. Again, within this hail core is where the concern would be for that possibility of maybe a circulation, which we'll take a look and see if we can see. In fact, we do. And so I'd be ready to say that there might be a tornado warning imminent here. What we're seeing here is right here. There is a very notable circulation, and no doubt that's also the area. I'll put the hail back on. You can see that's kind of why we watch both, and right over top of that is where there's hail. It would be, at this point, we consider this to kind of be a evolving event. I wouldn't say that that would indicate a tornado is on the ground, but very well, where we're very close to that point. So what I'm going to do now, folks, is seeing that, and that's going to take it into Jackson County. I want to, first off, we'll put a path on this and let communities that might be impacted by this, let them know where this is heading. And give me 1 second here, folks, and I'm going to go off to the northeast. So now that we know exactly where that's at, and it's on a northeasterly path, we can go ahead and right down to the pixel here and take this Bellevue. This will be impacting you too, but here we go. Otter Creek 145, Lamont 150, St. Donatus 157. 2 o'clock is when it would be into the Bellevue area, and in Galena, this would be heading towards Galena about 2 o'clock as well. So again, there is circulation, very notable circulation here showing up on first alert Doppler radar, enough to where I am concerned about that. Here in the metro, we've got a cell that's moving in. We were just talking about that. You can see this is well below severe limits. This is nothing to be concerned about. My concern is this storm that is up in parts of Jackson County, or getting ready to move into Jackson County, I should say. And that is going to be the storm that we are most concerned with at this time. So going back into that, I'm looking at some updates here. Okay, let's see if we got, got dime-sized hail being reported in Cedar Rapids. Okay, a lot of hail reports coming through right now up in this vicinity, but you can see it's clustering up. And again, folks, I want to mention this too. This is not the main event. There's going to be an additional line of activity that develops here out to the west. Okay, watching this cell here as the southern supercell in close proximity to, we're getting an update from the Weather Service here. Okay, close proximity across Dubuque and northern Jones County. It depends on interactions again, but we are locally worried about that southern one potentially acquiring some deeper rotation. So, okay, so they are watching this one very closely. I would say I am too concerned that we do have some rotation, a deeper pocket of rotation here developing. Again, this is going to be just very near the Scotch Grove area. So again, this would take it into the northern part of Jackson County, Joe Daviess County, Dubuque County. Might take it right up into Dubuque too if it continues off kind of on its current path and course. Also Galena, I think between Galena and Dubuque is where this would head if it continues to strengthen. Again, what we're concerned with is right here. We've got a circulation right there that is, we're noting. And one thing we can do too is look at a couple products that we take a look at. You know, we don't just have radar. We can also take a look at some other products that show us, hey, okay, maybe there is some shear here. And shear is that spin in the atmosphere. And so we call this shear track. And it does have some little spots there showing up that do need to be watched. So we're going to continue to watch that, and all kind of a little bit more down here too, to the west. All right, so going back to radar, we got two areas. I want to look at this area here north of Iowa City. This would take it more into the Maquoketa area, this part of the storm, the southern flank of this. We've got some big hail, though, too, that I'm concerned with there. Maybe up to nickel, quarter-sized hail, maybe a little bit larger. but it is evolving. Again, these are just developed here about, I mean, really within the last half hour, 40 minutes or so is when we saw this whole thing come together. Broad rotation, nothing like what I'm seeing up to the north here in parts of Jones County. I think this one is a little bit more pronounced and something that we need to continue to watch. That scan looked a little bit better. Let's go back and see. Not as prominent on that circulation. Oh, it's still there. Yeah, it is still there. Maybe not as prominent though, but still would clip kind of the northwestern portion of Jackson County. So we got to watch these scan by scan again, folks. It is going to be a fast evolving deal, is what we're seeing. And we want to take a regional view here too and look at things as a whole because we had additional thunderstorm development happening. Right now, the main issue, the main concern is what is happening out northwest of the Quad Cities into Jackson County. Again, Cedar County also included under that warning, although it might just clip the northwestern corner of Cedar County. It looks like that's what it's actually doing. And then off to the north here, Dubuque County, Joe Daviess County, Jackson County, again, Clinton County. Eventually here into, maybe even into Carroll County eventually as this line evolves. I'll put this in motion here and show you exactly what we're seeing happen. You can see very fast uptick in activity, and it continues off to the northeast here, and it's going to continue to do so around 50-mile-an-hour speeds. So very fast moving storms. So if you're in these areas, you want to take these warnings seriously, but you also want to act fast because it will evolve very fast and very quickly. Let's take a look at satellite too. This gives us a good idea of exactly where things are developing. We can see the clouds before we actually see the storms. And I'm going to go turn our visible satellite on here and take off the warning information. We know where that's at. 1 second here, and I'm going to take the warnings off as well. It's good to see where the lightning is though, because what we can see with that is it shows where the strongest tops are, because where you got lightning, you've got strong storms. And so what you can see here happening is kind of the evolution of how this is all going to play out, and it's kind of playing out exactly how it was forecasted. We got this initial cluster of storms up here. We've got severe threat, damaging to destructive winds, and tornadoes are a possibility. But this one here in the metro didn't really get going. I didn't expect it to, as it's just a little bit ahead of the area of concern of a front that's moving in. But you can see what's happening down here. Look at this. We got tops starting to fire up here, and we're already starting to see lightning pop in there. So that's an indication that we've got more storm development, and it's going to quickly fill in just to the west of our viewing area. And then as it continues to track off to the northeast, it will again threaten our region. I'm gonna go back to radar here and look at, we got any new updates. Here northeast of Ottumwa is where that cell is that we saw on satellite. So again, metro got a little bit of a rain shower at this point, nothing too concerning, but we do consider, and now we're at a considerable damage threat. So we're going to take a pause here because we might go on the air for this. So again, I'm going to put a path on this and kind of give a breakdown. Okay, larger hail core, also mid-level rotation. So they're really concerned about this circulation here. And again, that's going to take it right towards Galena. So we a lot of folks up in Galena area here, and so we might go on for this. I'm going to put a path on this, and then we're going to break away here for just a second and make that decision if we're going to go on television. And again, you don't have to leave this stream. We're going to be right here, and we'll carry our coverage right on this stream. So you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave us. You can stay right here. Okay, so here you go. Dubuque about 135. Eventually into the Galena area about 157. That is when we expect this. So, all right, so we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to stay with you, though. The coverage is up here. We got the radar up here. We're going to continue to keep radar up as we make the decision on when we're going to go on television. And then again, we're going to simulcast that coverage right here. So stay with us. Again, severe thunderstorm warning continues here until 1:45. This is for Dubuque and Jones County, 2 o'clock for Clinton and Jackson County. Again, tornado possible, now considerable damage threat. So we'll be back here momentarily with another update.
Viewing area. This storm warning is for Dubuque, Jackson, Joe Davis, and Jones County until 2:15. 60-mile-per-hour winds, but considerable threat here based on the hail size of 1 3/4 inch. And there you can see that hail core right there. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put this into motion for you so you can see where this one is moving. And when we do that, what we're going to find is that it is heading very close to the bottom edge of this watch box, or this warning box, excuse me, which takes it into extreme northern Jackson County, but more importantly, Galena, kind of right in the crosshairs here. And as we take a look at just what we're dealing with in terms of the hail size, we are looking right now at this hail core in the dark blue. It's been cycling a little bit, but right now we're looking at hail sizes. There you go, ping pong ball size hail. So again, this is damaging hail, and this is running right up toward Galena. And as we back off a little bit here, did you get a forward speed on this particular storm?
They're racing about 50 miles an hour east-northeast. So yeah, they're moving quickly.
Okay, yeah, let's come back to me. I do want to track this. We'll go ahead and get folks in the path of this storm the chance to know just where this is going to be going. And again, at 50 miles per hour, yeah, that in the next hour, that does cover much of northern Joe Davis County. So about 2:06 p.m., we'd be looking at Galena. This will be crossing through Elizabeth. Again, what we're tracking here is the hail core itself, because this is the most damaging part, or the potentially most damaging part of the storm. Elizabeth at 2:16. Schulzburg, of course, that's in Wisconsin. We go to Stockton at 2:30 and West Point at 2:40, just outside the viewing area. But again, this storm will be covering portions of northern Joe Davis County here right after it gets through the Lamont area and crosses through northern Jackson County, that little portion that juts out to the north. And there's Highway 61 to give you an idea of where we're looking at. And the radar as a whole right now, as we back off a little bit, I'll show you that parts of the viewing area have already gotten a little bit of rain, but these storms here have really ticked up quickly. There's also another severe thunderstorm warning there for northern Cedar, western Jackson, and northwestern Clinton County. Thing is, these are the storms that we're most concerned about in terms of tornadic activity. These are the supercells, and those hail cores do indicate updrafts. These are the storms we'd be looking at, even this one here, in the next few hours to give us a tornado potential. And then it's this evening when we get that line, really late this afternoon into the evening, that we get that line that we've been showing you developing. Here you can see it off to our west, moving through the entirety of the viewing area. So I don't think anybody's going to be without a storm today. It's just a question of the two rounds, this one with potentially tornadic storms, and then that next round, which will cover the whole area as that line of storms screams from east to west, or west to east, I should say, as we finish off the afternoon and get into the evening hours. So as we get a little bit closer in, once again, I do want to show you what's happening in terms of these storms. We've got those hail cores now, some hail forming in portions of Jones County. A line of it there. There's Anamosa, and that's the western portion of the county. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning here goes to 1:45, and this includes Jones County for the most part. But again, we've been looking at a little in and out, a rotation here. But again, with these, the main threat will be hail, and unless a tornado does develop. But these are the storms that we're tracking right now. Kyle?
Yeah, actually, on that point, Eric, this last scan that we just got in of the velocity shows us how the winds are behaving inside the storm. It is showing an uptrend. The National Weather Service is noting that as well. And here's the deal. There's a warm front. I believe it's positioned roughly right now, I think right where this is about to cross. And so as that does so, it's going to interact with that boundary. The threat for tornadic activity is only going to increase here. And while it is I would say at this point we could call it a broad rotation, it is tightening up, and it might take it a couple scans before it does so. But the concern is where this is heading. You got Otter Creek, Lamont, St. Donatus, but it's heading right towards, almost beeline for Galena. So if you're in Galena, this is your first alert. We've got this storm. You're in a severe thunderstorm warning, marked tornado possible, but there is certainly some broad rotation, but that rotation is increasing. I want to also mention this too, as Eric mentioned, the hail threat. We're also looking at, depending on where you're at, especially near the circulation, maybe up to 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this too. So there's going to be that concern as well. These are very strong and dangerous storms that we're going to be seeing continue to move in, and that's why they've put out that considerable tornado warning now for Dubuque and Jackson counties. So we now have a tornado warning. We were just talking about that rotation. This does not get quite to Galena. It gets about to the 52 corridor there, but tornado warning now in effect for Dubuque and Jackson County here until 2:30 p.m.
All right, and as we take a look at, again, the evolution of today's system, now we've got the tornado warning alarm, those supercell thunderstorms there that are already in the area. But take a look, there's the line now starting to form off to our west. These are the storms that will be forming along a cold front, and this will be just like a bulldozer blade as it moves through the entire TV6 viewing area from north to south. So once again, we are talking about a tornado warning right here till 2:45, as Kyle just pointed out. Let me get rid of that, and we will zoom on into that storm. Let's see, there we go, and give you a little bit of a heads up of just where this one is going to track, and also what we're dealing with, that large hail. Hail seems to be coming down a little bit now, but the last time we looked into that hail core, we were talking about ping pong ball size hail, and now it's about a tornado warning. And there you can see our tornado probability today. It is high, and it's right in those areas where we did expect to see the supercell thunderstorms, and that encompasses the Quad Cities area, Metro Quad Cities, off to the north, even some points south. But right now we're dealing with Jackson and Joe Davis County. Tornado warning now for you, so that's why we want to get you back on the radar here so we can show you where you need to be taking shelter, and that would certainly be in these areas. There you can see that tornado warning. I'll get a little bit closer for you, and we'll do a little bit of a time track here as we can get this a little bit closer to Galena. Now again, as Kyle pointed out, this warning does not include Galena proper, but this storm is certainly heading your way. So at the time that we're dealing with here, as this warning for the tornado goes till 2:30, I should say, let me correct that, 2:30, it will likely, if that storm continues to maintain strength after 2:30, be heading right toward Galena and those portions of Joe Davis County, north of Bellevue, right along the Mississippi River, that whole area. And even if you are in Bellevue right now, be prepared to take your shelter, giving you folks the first alert that even though you're not in the warning, that storm looks to be, as wide as it is, likely to affect the Bellevue area as well. So as we take a look then at this hail, well, we'll just go ahead and give you the radar as a whole and back this off a little bit, because again, as we were pointing out before, these storms are moving very quickly at about 50 miles per hour. So along with that hail, that would be where we're seeing the rotation. And as we bring that out at about 50 miles per hour, it's kind of the leading edge of that. Once again, we'll give you the updated times now. We did this a few minutes ago, but Lamont, about 1:55. Galena, 2:06 was our last estimate. Anywhere around 2 o'clock, you should be in your shelter in Galena, and certainly be preparing. Down Highway 20, we get to Elizabeth at 2:20. Of course, Eagle Ridge, folks, you need to be taking shelter. Get the guests in place to do that shortly as well. Stockton, 2:33, and then out of the area by about 2:44. Again, this is round one. These are our supercell thunderstorms, and just as we've been anticipating, large hail and perhaps tornadoes with these, and then a little bit different nature with that blast of widespread wind later this afternoon into the evening from the storms that are now forming in central Iowa. So again, no matter where you are in the TV6 viewing area, these storms will affect you. If not this first round in our northern counties, then later on with all counties involved in that line of wind-producing thunderstorms that will move through. So we'll take a look back at what Kyle's got to say over the desk.
Yeah, I was just looking at actually some chaser cameras right now, and they're in this area here near the Bernard area, Bernard Road into northwestern Jackson County, and there is a broad lowering. I'm actually looking at it right now. There is a broad lowering. It looks to be, I think they're right on the border here, getting into Dubuque County. But the Zwingle area, Lamont, St. Donatus, and again, eventually off into Joe Davies County, that's going to be the area of biggest concern. And we got an update to that tornado warning here. We're going to get the latest information on that. And let's see here. One second. And
just
we've
looks
got
like they're
extending it, and then they've upped that hail. That hail keeps, we can't let our guard down on that hail either. That is certainly a concern. But what I'm going to do, Eric, is not. We've got a good lock on where this rotation is, and it continues to brighten up, and that's no surprise. Yeah, it's going to be. I have a fear that this might be the one that if it can latch onto that boundary that is close by, we could see a pretty significant deal here. But let's track it for you as we get into eventually the Galena area here, and there's some strengthening yet, so this is not good. Washington Mills 152, Biggins School at 155, St. Donatus about 207, Galena 215, Galena High School 215. That's another thing, folks. These storms are going to be moving through close to dismissal time for a lot of schools. The best thing to do is if a warning is issued for where your children go to school, don't race there to get them. The schools will keep them in a safe space. That creates more chaos and could be a more significant situation. So right now, unfortunately, for this area at least here, and that is again Jackson, Joe Daviess County, Dubuque County, it's kind of too late to go pick up your kids now. Let them, the schools will take care of them. They'll shelter in place. They have, we do drills for this stuff, but that will impact Galena High School here about 2:15. But that circulation very notable and is continuing to strengthen.
Yeah, and as we take another closer look, well, let me get my menu off the board here because I do want to show you some of the towns that we're getting closer to. Here's our circulation right here. It's north of South Garryowen, and as we move through the border here, this is Dubuque County, this is Jackson County. Here's Highway 61, there's Otter Creek, there's Lamont, there's St. Donatus, right up there on 52, and we go over toward Bellevue here, and areas adjacent to those areas of Jackson County, northern Jackson County in Illinois. And you can see the bottom, actually the bottom of that severe thunderstorm warning would have carried that hail core right to Galena, but even here with our circulation, there's the bottom of our tornado warning. So again, when they put these polygons out, they anticipate where in time the possibilities are at least greater for these circulations to go. And right now this one again kind of right it's just tight roping the border there of Dubuque County and Jackson County in areas west of Highway 61. So as we continue to see this move east, and I'm sure the next radar scan will show us quite an update. Again, if you're in Lamont, you need to be taking shelter now. St. Donatus, plan on taking shelter now. Otter Creek, Cottonville, you're close enough to take shelter. As we drop the screen a little bit, there you can see King, the township King, right along Highway 52, Ballyclaw also. If those old townships are familiar to you, you're in those spots. I believe Zwingle is up there too. And there's, of course, Highway 151. There would be the Dubuque Regional Airport right there. So again, all these areas are in the path of this storm in terms of the circulation. Don't have any word yet of any contact with the ground, but as Kyle was mentioning, boy, this thing is probably pretty impressive from the ground view in terms of a lowering cloud base. So if
there's
do we have a
there's a funnel cloud right now.
Okay.
We're watching live video of it. Possibly that might be coming down here, but there's a funnel.
Okay.
There's a funnel cloud right there. You can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So we're watching this on some chaser cameras here that we look at too, and we've got a whole string of folks that we have out in the field.
Wish we could share those, but take our word for it.
Yes,
right?
absolutely, yeah. And once we can share them, we will. But we are watching. There is a funnel cloud, and it looks like a notable rotation within that. I mean, very notable rotation, and continues to lower to the ground.
Okay, and let me get this back a little bit. We'll zoom back in. We'll do a track, a much closer track here, because again, timing is important with all of these storms, and that's why we're here. We want to give you the best idea of when these will be coming your way. So again, these storms today will be moving very quickly. Any storm we get. These supercells here at about 50 miles per hour. The storms that we get later on tonight, maybe, or later on this evening, maybe a little bit faster than that. But if we're looking at that circulation moving at about, I'm not going to be able, there we go, about 50 miles per hour. Let me get my hand in the right spot. No, it's not going to do it for me. But, well, in the short term, certainly, St. Donatus and Galena, we've been talking about those towns right there in southern Dubuque County, but also northern Jackson County, Lamont, Garryowen, Otter Creek, very close to this storm, which is circulating, showing a lowering of the cloud base. That is heading to St. Donatus, and that's certainly what we want to make sure you folks know is that it is time to take shelter, because if you've been following us this week, and we've had multiple rotations in the clouds, some of those real tornadoes, but that, as you can see, that's a very strong rotation indicated by the bright green next to the very bright red. You can see how that red kind of peaks there next to the green that really peaks. So we could be dealing with a developing tornado. That's why if you're in northern Jackson County, southern Dubuque County, much of Joe Daviess County, you need to take shelter now.
Yeah, I'm continuing to watch this, and as you mentioned, Eric, it continues to really strengthen here. I want to do this real quick. We're going to, while this tornado warning is our biggest concern, Dubuque and Jackson County, heads up. This is satellite. So what we've got here's the Quad City Metro. We've got all this explosive thunderstorm development. When we say explosive thunderstorm development, I don't think there's any better indication of what that means. This is what it means. You go from nothing, or maybe just a cumulus cloud, to a severe thunderstorm within 10 minutes, and that's kind of what happened here. Well, that's the first round. The next area that we were watching is already starting to develop here off to the southwest of the Quad Cities near Washington, Iowa. We're starting to get lightning in there, but this is just round one. Again, what's going to be our round two comes kind of even further back here near Des Moines and the I-35 corridor. We're already starting to see those storms fire up there. So it's going to be a very long afternoon, I think, for a lot of people. But this is, again, the first round. We want to make sure that you don't think that this is it and we're done and everything's good. Unfortunately, for the folks that are in the path of this tornado warned storm and storm that we are watching here very closely, heads up to you. New severe thunderstorm warning. We'll get the information on that. This is going to be an extension of that, kind of the southern flank of that here, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to go back to our circulation as we continue to watch some of the chaser cameras in this area. A lot of storm chasers out here in our area today because of just how volatile the environment is. But just to the east of the Bernard area is where that rotation continues. Lamont, St. Donatus, and Galena. We've been giving you this warning for a while. A big time update there with that increase in the velocity. Wow, yeah, that's really spiking up there. So again, we can see it live too. And if we see anything touch down, we're going to let you know. But just getting ready to cross over Route 61 there. So if you're in Jackson County heading up into Dubuque County and you cross over or on 61 heading north, stop in Maquoketa, because not only is that tornado threat there, we're also talking about the potential for some damaging hail, and we're talking maybe up to the size of golf balls. So that's dangerous in itself. A lot of lightning, heavy rain, but this circulation continues to increase, Eric. Yeah,
I wanted to mention, I talked about Zwingle not too long ago. Zwingle, that's going to be right on you shortly here. There's Highway 61, and that circulation right there, moving right over Zwingle in about the next minute or two. Lamont 203, St. Donatus 209, Gears Ferry 214, 217, so about a quarter after now is our estimate for Galena. But again, anytime after 2 o'clock, we will be dealing with this threatening weather, getting very close to Galena as this storm is ramping along at about 50 miles per hour. North Hanover by about 223. That's south of Galena there on 84, a little bit farther north there. But there you can see, again, we're looking at that circulation. That is within a tornado warning that goes until 2:30 as we back out and show you the radar as a whole. There you can see that hail core there, and that is just a monster hail core. As a matter of fact, as we take a look at the size of this hail right here, along with that rotation that we're worried about, look at that little peak there. We'll see if we can take a look and get that. Here we go. Let me get the right menu selection here. There we go. And this is going to give us an idea of how much we're dealing with. Ping pong size hail back again. So like these hail cores always do, they kind of lose a little strength and the hail size goes down, at least the estimate via radar, and then they come back up again, and they'll be doing this the whole line of track. But again, ping pong ball size hail, you can imagine that that's going to be enough to dent cars and things. So if another warning too, with these storms approaching in our northern viewing area, and I can show you that as we go back to radar and zoom out just a little bit. I just want to let folks know that if you are in the path of these storms, and we can show these now coming through Jackson County, new severe thunderstorm warning there, extending all the way to the Mississippi, because large hail is a threat with these storms. Take this time, if the weather hasn't turned already, and get things inside. Pull things in from the yard, get the car into the garage, and right here we see another hail core that we've been watching. That's cycling, moving toward Maquoketa. So there's your first alert for that, folks in Maquoketa. If you got hail coming your way, get things inside that you want to keep.
Yeah, on that particular storm, and that's the thing. Well, how we can, before you even look at velocity, how you can tell an area where it might be favored for circulation is finding those hail cores. And right where that hail core is in Oxford Junction, there is a very notable circulation. I'm also watching some cameras out in that area, and it does look like we've got a lowering that's starting to develop here. So I think we have a developing circulation, possibly a tornado. This is a storm that is warned as a severe thunderstorm warning, but marked tornado possible. So you almost want to treat these today like a tornado warning. We're not quite to that point where it looks like a tornado is imminent, but it is the evolution of one. We've got those greens and reds starting to match up to each other here in Oxford Junction. This takes it into the Route 61 corridor. Oxford, again, Oxford Junction is where it's at now. Lost Nation just to your north, but Maquoketa, unfortunately. Some of the same areas that I feel last several storms we've had have been hit. Maquoketa, Charlotte, Preston. This is going to be impacting you. Maquoketa about 215. Maquoketa Municipal about 212. That'll be moving into town. And then the Charlotte area close to 230. Preston, same time as well, 230 is when what is a small circulation, but again, it's in a storm that we know and in an area that is very favored for tornadic activity, but that is when you can expect that. We'll take a look at radar, and yes, hail is uptrending as well, and we've got a lot of lightning in there too. So again, and we always want to watch these southern flanked storms because they have really all this energy and really are unimpeded. So what happens is you get the inflow that kind of feeds that storm. They get that warmer air. They can build up and become a little bit stronger. So we got to watch that closely. But again, wow, still noting this storm here just west of 61 and 151 here. East of Bernard, it looks like a little bit of a hook there, continues to form. So we're going to watch that very closely. We're keeping a very close eye on the cameras out there. But I'd say right now, this circulation is about over top of 61, getting ready to move into that northwestern corner here, just west of St. Donatus and into the St. Donatus area here into Jackson County. That will be moving in any second here.
Okay, and as we again give you an idea of where things are happening right now, northern portion of the viewing area, here's the Metro Quad Cities, here's Cedar County. Now we're getting some development there. Maybe a little line trying to form here from the storms we've got active in the northern portion of the viewing area all the way down south of Iowa City. So more counties and more towns will start getting these storms in just a short time. We'll take a look at the radar right now and give you an idea of how this is moving in terms of our tornado. We'll get zoomed in and give you a little closer look because again, it's that circulation that's really marked by the hail core here, and you can see that it is really following the line of the original severe thunderstorm warning, that southern portion of the box. And as we back this off to the west again, you'll see that hail core and the rotation just working its way right toward Joe Davis County, just around and south of the Galena area. So anyone here in northern Jackson County, Lamont, up toward Bellevue, St. Donatus especially, is hail's just about to be on St. Donatus, right over Highway 52, and then of course crossing the Mississippi over to Galena and southwest portions, or northwest portions I should say, of Joe Davis County, right along Highway 20 from about Elizabeth back to the northwest. You folks need to take your shelter right now as these storms are really closing in fast. Latest storm movement about 55 miles per hour.
Yeah, this is really getting close, I think, to dropping a tornado. I'm watching it on some of our cameras that we're watching. They're actually, one's going through St. Donatus, but look at this right here, right over top of 61. The green is winds moving towards the radar, red is away. So what happens here, and I'll draw some arrows to kind of give you an idea of what this looks like and why we pay close attention to this. So essentially you've got this, you got the red moving away, radar's down here at Mountain Joy Airport in Davenport, and then the green is winds moving towards the radar, and put a updraft in between that, and you got spin happening there. And as it gets brighter and those colors become closer together, that's a great indication that we've got at least a rotation. We've got visuals of it too, and we can tell you that right now there is a very notable lowering. We've seen at times what looks to be a funnel cloud, and I'm just continuing to look at here. Deanna, do we see anything additional? Or
don't
just
see anything on
lowering?
debris.
Yeah. So it continues to be a lowering, but this is in a vicinity. There's a warm front that this is interacting with, I believe, probably right now, just draped over this area. So very concerning. This is heading towards, again, the St. Donatus area and Galena. Galena, you're not under that tornado warning, but you don't need to be under a tornado warning to take shelter. This is heading towards you, continues to be on that track. But St. Donatus, it's now moving into Jackson County. So this is your first alert. Take shelter right now.
Yeah, and take a look at this on Hook Echo. You can kind of see this little rope, that little rope right back down to the tail end of the storm right there. So that would be our circulation that Kyle was just pointing out on the velocity portion of the radar that looks at the wind direction and speed. This is reflectivity. We've got the inflow right here, kind of light for rain because that's also moving up. And then we've got the circulation that's spinning back toward the east there, and that's kind of where our Hook Echo seems seems to be. It's far away from the radar site. It's a little bit higher up in the cloud than the base, but nonetheless, we can kind of see that structure right now. So right over 61, Highway 61, there's Lamont. I will get in just a little bit tighter so we can take a look at who else is in here, and we might get some roads, but again, right now it's just if you're Zwingle to Lamont to St. Donatus, this is really the minute you need to be taking shelter, just in case we've got this thing close to connecting to the ground. We've certainly got everything, all the evidence at cloud level. We've got the hook, we've got the rotation noted. Haven't seen any debris yet. As a matter of fact, as I put that on the screen, you'll probably not notice much of a color change. Yeah, not looking at debris right now, but nonetheless, we did see the hook kind of move a little bit forward in that last radar scan, and this would now be northeast of Zwingle. There's 230th Avenue. There's Centerville Road, 256th Avenue, kind of right where those cross, Centerville Road and 258th, I'm sorry. Looks like that will be kind of the path of this rotation as it really follows the lower line there. Those yellow lines, those are just there because they're the southern end of our original severe thunderstorm warning, but it really seems to be following that, and that's where our hail core is as well.
Yeah, and here's a product. We don't show this very often, but this is giving us a very good depiction of where this is at. It's called shear track, and what it's and as Eric mentioned there, it is taking kind of the southerly track of this warning. Here's a couple things. It would be a good thing because if it starts to turn a little bit more southeasterly versus the northeast track it's been, that might take it just south of Galena. Still, the Galena area, especially south, we still need to be sheltering. St. Donatus still too, but if that starts to turn a little bit more easterly, that's a sign. We call them right movers. Those are the ones that are most favored to produce a tornado. But nonetheless, we look at these colors, and we're at the top of the chart here. So strong rotation continues, and wow, look at that uptick right there, folks. That is solid.
Everything's coming together for a tornado to be developing
and Eric, here you can see, look at what it does here.
Yeah.
It was moving northeast, and then now it's been kind of more easterly. So it's starting to turn to the right a little bit. And looking at our cameras, we're seeing that lowering start to lower a little bit more. The one thing, too, I've noticed is the inflow is really increasing in this. And what does all that mean? It means that the storm is evolving in a way that is positioning it to produce a tornado. Here's your circulation. This is the hook echo right here. This is where all your rain and hail and all that is. To get a strong tornado, you need the updraft to kind of shift a little bit, and the downdraft, where all that rain is, to kind of be displaced from the updraft, and it makes those, you get that tornado, you get that strong tornado, and that's sometimes when you see those wedge tornadoes. We're not there yet, but that is, unfortunately, we are an environment that is conducive for those, and I've just watching these for years, I can tell you that this is, unfortunately, kind of looks like what might be evolving here.
Yeah, classic supercell, no doubt about it. So let's go over what we've got right now. Tornado warning right now for northern Jackson County. Let's just take this based on what we've seen right to the Mississippi River. This goes till 2:30. It will likely be extended into Joe Davis County. So your first alert, Joe Davis County. I mean, if you're anywhere in the eastern half of the county, you should be considering where you're going to go right now as these storms come by. And there's Wingle on the southern edge of that tornado warning. Now, as far as severe thunderstorm warnings are concerned, we'll go through these, and again, Joe Davis County, with the anticipation of that storm moving through with the hail, that severe thunderstorm warning that also includes northern portions of Jackson County, that goes till 2:15. And again, the problem here is we've got tornadoes possible, also we've got large hail possible, and as we move on down the line here, we'll get to the next severe thunderstorm warning, mostly for Jackson County, but also northern portions of Clinton County, back toward Jones County as well. This warning for much of Jackson County goes till 3 p.m. Because of what we've seen with these storms, the hail and the updrafts and a little rotation, and this storm that you're warned for now is strengthening to your west as well. Tornado possible, inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. This goes till 3 p.m. this afternoon, so if you are in Jackson County, do take shelter now. Also northern Cedar County, I've got friends in Delmer. This is your first alert, my friends, to get ready to take shelter as those storms approach your area, and I know where they they live, and they've got quite a view of the western sky there. So as we come on out right now, as far as warnings are concerned, we've just covered the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warnings. And as we come out a little bit farther, what you're going to notice is that we are also looking at a few showers and thunderstorms kind of forming on the tail end of this line off to the south and west of the main activity here. So here's Cedar County, there's Johnson County, south of Iowa City and Coralville, and that line's kind of filling in what we had moved through the metro earlier today. Not much of a consequence at this point, but let me just show you that yes, we are tracking that tornado, and we'll get right back to it off to the north. But take a look at this. There's the line of wind-producing storms that will move through late this afternoon and this evening. Those will bring the potential for 70 to 80 mile per hour winds.
St. Denis, you need to be in your shelter right now. There's a tornado that is now dropping over 230th Avenue, Centerville Road right now. I also want to mention too, as we continue to track this, if you're in St. Denis, you need to be in your basements now. This is not one of those deals where you can go out and watch it. You need to be in your shelter. This is a very dangerous and life-threatening storm, as we do have what appears to be a large tornado starting to form here. That lowering is getting lower to the ground to the point where it looks like, just based off of some visuals we're seeing, we got dust starting to pick up, and it could be a very large tornado developing here. It's a very large footprint. The circulation itself is about 2 miles across. I don't think that we have a 2 mile wide tornado, but I think the circulation it could be pretty broad. So we want to, and not broad in a good way, it could be broad and over a large footprint. Centerville Road, getting ready to cross over 52, St. Denis, High Bridge Road, 320th Street. We've got a couple other roads here too, Mill Creek Road to your north, but just to the north of Lamont. I want to see if we'll get the correlation coefficient. Debris tracker is in here. We're not seeing anything on debris yet, but I can tell you that circulation is very notable. The other thing I want to talk about too is some new information that the Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center just put out, and they just did a weather balloon launch not too long ago. The environment is such where we could see up to, and they kind of give you an idea, ballpark of the intensity, and these intensity, new tornado warning here that takes it into Joe Daviess County. That is going to include Galena. So Galena, you're now under a tornado warning, and we'll get to that information on that large tornado on the ground. Is it on the ground? Yeah, we're getting close. Yeah, we're getting close to it there. Yep. So we're looking at some video, and we're getting it looks like we have a tornado on the ground. So again, what you need to do, folks, you need to take your tornado precautions right now. Get to your basements. If you don't have a basement, you want to get to the center part of your house, a closet or bathroom. Kind of the whole deal is to put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. If you're in a mobile home, this might be one of those deals where you need to evacuate and go find a low-lying ditch if you don't have substantial shelter. Again, I want to reiterate one thing too. It's getting close to school dismissal time. Anybody that has children in this area, in this tornado warning, do not race to go get the kids. You're going to put your kids and yourself in danger by doing that. You need to let the schools will handle this. They do drills for this, and they will take them and put them in shelter. So very dangerous situation. We're going to continue to watch these cameras as, again, we have an evolving tornado here just near the St. Denis area.
Okay, and speaking of that, St. Denis, you're really under the gun right now. I mean, it's 2:12, 2:15 our estimated time, so you need to take this next minute to get into your shelter. Gears Ferry, 2:20, Aiken at 2:22, Galena now coming in with this tornado warning and timing out to about 2:23. The storm might have slowed down a little bit. Earlier we were estimating a little bit after the hour of 2 o'clock, but here we are, 2:13, not quite there yet, but there is our storm. So Galena, latest estimate now, 2:23. That should give you plenty of time if you have already been preparing to get into your shelter. And as we take a look at this, I do want to show you this, that along with that, we've still got that huge hail core right there. So as we go in and take a look at the kind of hail we'd be expecting, probably down from the ping pong ball size that we had earlier. But there you go, $half size. So again, still damaging hail, along with the fact that we've got a tornado within that storm, and that is heading right for St. Denis. There's King, that's going to cross the Mississippi River. We've got Galena right there, and adjacent areas from Highway 20 to the Mississippi River. If you are in those rural portions of Joe Daviess County, you need to get out, take shelter right now. And as we go back out, I do want to show you that we have that extensive new tornado warning that does cover much of Joe Davis County. You're going to see it come up on the screen here. And there you go. This is all the way down Highway 20 past Elizabeth. And this one goes till 3 o'clock. Not only the tornado, but inch and 3/4 diameter hail. So as we go back in one more time, we're going to track this tornado. And there you can see it. It's getting to be a very large rotation. Other rotation here west of Maquoketa and west of Highway 61. So again, we were talking about this not too long ago. This storm strengthening. So if you are in Jackson County, you do want to get to your shelter. I'll get
new tornado warning here for Jackson County for that storm we're talking about.
Yep, there you go. And I'll give you a time on this. We'll time out that rotation again. These storms have been moving at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. They seem maybe to be slowing down a little bit. So we'll say about 50 miles per hour. There you go. Andrew, 228. Boy, you were close to that one, that other one the other night. Bellevue, 240. Arrival time with this rotation in Savannah, 254. Stockton, 308. And Lanark between about 310 and 315.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about this storm here in Jackson County. We're concerned about both storms. This one has got a very notable rotation. Here's what you can see with this is what we have developing here and evolving into Jackson County is a total hook. And if you're in Maquoketa, you need to be in your shelter right now. It is just, it might just skim Maquoketa, but very notable.
That's Baldwin, Iowa right there.
Yes, Baldwin, Iowa, Andrew. This is the same area that was just hit on Tuesday by the tornadoes that moved through. We're talking Maquoketa, Andrew, eventually maybe off towards the Bellevue area, then eventually into Carroll County and Joe Daviess County. But again, we're noticing that rotation. Here's something else I want to mention too, and was starting this before we had some of that video that was showing some of that tornadic activity up there into the St. Donatus area. The Storm Prediction Center put out an outlook here that just kind of talks about some of the data that's coming in from some of the new models and some of the new observations. And they are noting the intensity of these are expected to increase, and the strength, they kind of give a range of how high, how strong these tornadoes could potentially be. And they're going up to 170 mile an hour tornadoes, 170 mile an hour winds inside those tornadoes, I should say. That's an EF4 tornado. So this is we're kind of getting into that criteria where we could be talking about some violent tornadoes. And again, those are the ones that will destroy your house. So you need to take these warnings very seriously. We don't have any on the ground confirmed at this time, but we do continue to watch just southwest of Galena here and just to the northwest of Maquoketa. Very concerning here as we continue with these two supercells with hook echoes. They're now starting to turn a little bit more to the right, which puts them in a very favorable position to be tornadic.
All right, and another thing that we are concerned about, the heavy rainfall that we're getting with these storms. So the Weather Service is already talking with some emergency management directors up, especially toward Dubuque, for the possibility of flash flooding. Some of these storms have already produced about 2 inches of rain. So as we put this into motion and we move up the line, what you'll see is that, again, these storms are moving at about, now we're getting about 45 mile per hour movement with these storms. And as we have these in the general northern portion of the viewing area, they might even start dropping down south a little bit. But as far as rainfall rates are concerned, almost an inch an hour, and these things are coming up on having been here for about an hour. So that's something that we'll continue to watch for, that possibility of flash flooding and, of course, hail, and that's kind of marking where that updraft is too, that rotation that we're seeing. So strong storm north of Baldwin, western Jackson County. This is coming to Highway 61 between Otter Creek and Maquoketa. Maquoketa, if you are watching us right now, please, you can take us with you on the app and live stream us as we have you get to your shelter immediately, because again, that's a big population area there for Jackson County, of course, the heart of Jackson County, and that's where we've got those strong storms coming. Hail, also that tornado, and as we take a look again at the reflectivity in terms of our rotation, there it is again, north of Baldwin, kind of right here under my hand and moving this way. So that's going to cross 61 well north of Hurstville, probably getting close to the Bellevue Cascade Road where that will cross, if you know where that crosses 61. So again, anywhere in there, we know there's a lot of farms. I think there's an alpaca farm up there too, if I'm not mistaken, but you need to be taking shelter now in those rural areas because this storm will be coming your way. And another thing about mentioning rainfall not too long ago, you know, bluff country kind of starts up in these areas. So So the runoff, if you were at the base of one of the bluffs or at the base of a hill, and that's one of the things I love about Jackson County, that hilly nature to the topography. You get some great views when you get high up into Jackson County. That rain is all going to have to go somewhere. So if you're in one of the lower spots of Jackson County, especially eastern Jackson County, when you get closer to the Mississippi and everything funnels toward the river, that is where we could precisely get some quick flash flooding. So start to take those flooding precautions. Look at your feet, but also be looking up into the sky and be taking shelter as these storms approach from the west at about latest speed I got from the Weather Service, about 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about this. Here's something I've got going here. Yeah, we're here. I took a lot, we get all these different layers on the radar, labels and warnings, and that it can kind of clutter up and you can kind of lose focus of what's happening. But here's what's happening. You've got two supercells. These are textbook hook echo supercells, and I put a different color table on it to kind of notate where the hooks are and where the hail core is. And you can see some of the pinks that have been dotting in here, but these are both turning a little bit more easterly. This one's got strong inflow because look we got storms developing on the south end and kind of on the inflow tail is what we're noticing with that. But this is going to be just northwest of Maquoketa, but this one in particular here, tucking back in, it's going to be an issue here for the Galena area. And I'm going to go back into that storm and we're going to track it for you and kind of look at, huge hail core there too. So again, that's a sign. We've got a very strong, continue with a very strong updraft. And so we've got hail, we got that tornado here, there are the possibility of a tornado. The circulation, good news here, it has eased a little bit as it is right now over top of St. Donatus. So good news there, but we still have a circulation. Do not let that be kind of be a way for you to get out of the basement. Stay in shelter as this is going to continue to move off to the northeast again, heading right towards Galena. It could be reorganizing a little bit too, but I do think I want to keep a very close eye on the southern flank of this whole thing and the southern storm, which is that area here. Here's Fulton, Iowa, Iron Hills. Again, we were just Tuesday talking about these same areas, and that's where the circulation is here. Just, I would say right now, very close to 61, 109th Avenue, Bernard Road, the Crabtown area, just to the north of 150th Street. But actually, another kind of a couple little areas there near 82nd Avenue as well, Iron Hills, Fulton. It'll cross 61. Andrew, though. Andrew, you're going to be in line for this circulation portion of the storm. Cottonville, and then eventually maybe off towards the Bellevue area.
Yeah, and back to that particular storm as we've timed things out at about 45 miles per hour forward movement. Fulton, 223, just talking about Andrew, 228. So this is all within about the next 5, 6, 7 minutes. Andrew Community High School, Grandview School, then Green Island, 244, just south of Bellevue there, getting into the flats next to the Mississippi River, close to the Mississippi River, and then the River Ridge School, that's in Joe Davis County. So again, that's your time frame. We're at 221 now. We get to Fulton at 223, Andrew at about 228. And as we get back to the radar as a whole, and you can see exactly what we're dealing with here. Not only the threat for tornadoes, wrong one there. Why don't you take it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, while you reset that, I'm going to give you an update here on what we're watching here out to the west. And look at this.
Yeah, it's really filling in fast.
Here's our line, and we talked about that. Again, folks, round one is right here. This is that strong tornado risk, destructive hail, and damaging winds. This is going to be a line of extensive wind damage and embedded tornadoes. When we say derecho, it's a technical term, but we just kind of correlate it back to last year's derecho that we had, and also in 2024 in July, where we saw these almost broken lines together of different of cells, and you get little tornadoes embedded in that with damaging winds. That's what we expect out of that. We're no stranger to that, unfortunately. So get ready. That's going to be a little bit later here into the afternoon and into the evening. We continue to watch these cells here into Jackson County, Joe Daviess County. Continue to watch them. They are starting to, once again, they kind of weakened a little bit there. They're uptrending once again, Eric.
Okay, here's a look at our tornado warning. It's for much of Joe Daviess County. Here we go. This one goes till 3 this afternoon. And as we get into the threats, of course, we've got a possible tornado with this one and a large possible tornado, at least this rotation is impressive. 1.75 inch, 1 3/4 inch hail, but I do want to bring back the velocity to show you what we're looking at in terms of that very strong circulation here. Now just getting to that eastern portion of Jackson County, north of Bellevue, right on top of St. Donatus, really, and that's moving to the east into Joe Davis County here shortly. It will cross the Mississippi River. There's Bellevue, go up 52, there's St. Donatus, there's eventually the Orchard up there before you head a little closer toward Dubuque, and that's right where that rotation is. This will continue to move to the east, and that is some very strong rotation. And now take a look. You see that green lot box there, that green line. That indicates that now we do have flash flood warnings. And as we come out, I can show you how the extension of that flash flood warning goes back to the west for much of, let's see, that's going to be, Jones County for the flash flood warning here, and also into Galena and Joe Davis County, because again, the storm, it's really kind of a monster. We've got the rotation. That's not the only part that we're worried about as well. We go down now, as we look a little bit closer to Highway 61, that's where the circulation is crossing 61 now in Jackson County. Get a little bit closer to that, and there you see Otter Creek to Andrew. You need to be taking shelter now. You should be in shelter, because that's where this rotation is, and it's heading to the east and maybe a little bit southeast as well, as we have seen these turn a little bit to the right. Kyle's been talking about that. Supercells, when they get to a certain point of strength and they start turning to the right, that means they're feeding into more unstable air, which makes the storm stronger. That's why not only do we have that rotation up in Joe Davis County, but also this one that's formed west of Jackson County, now in the heart of Jackson County there, just north on 61, Maquoketa off to the south there where these roads converge, 62 and 61. But as we move a little bit closer, let's see, let me pan this up a little bit, move this farther. Yeah, there you go. You give yourself some perspective. Again, anywhere between Otter Creek and Andrew, be taking shelter now.
Eric, sorry to interrupt you. I just want to mention that I'm looking at some cameras here in the Galena area, and if we can get them on the air, we'll try to get these on the air. But I'm noticing a couple things. We've got a very well-defined wall cloud in this. That is very interesting, Eric. If you want to see it, take a look at that. This is heading towards Galena, maybe just south of Galena. It's very close to the ground. It almost looks like kind of we call a surface to base mesocyclone, where really the whole circulation is sitting on the ground. It's very close to it, at least. And then I think the other one that they're showing here too is the one further to the south, not too far away. We do, and you can see that here.
Quite a perspective.
Otter Creek, right here, just south of Otter Creek, and just to the just west northwest of Andrew. Let's see how far northwest it is, but just to the right about 4 to 5, let's say 4 miles northwest of Andrew is where circulation number 1 and lowering number 1 is. Lowering number 2, that's very impressive, over St. Donatus right now, getting ready to cross just to the south of Galena proper, but there's a lot of areas, a lot of beautiful farmsteads and homesteads out there in southern Joe Davis County. That is getting ready to cross the river. And new update here, continue with the strengthening circulations near Otter Creek and St. Donatus. That's where we continue with those tornado warnings. Again, we continue with a very dangerous situation here that we continue to track. And want to mention too, just some communities, once again, if you are in Galena, continue with your tornado precautions. While this might go just south of the populated portion of Galena, it is going to be impacting a good area here that there's a lot of different little villages and such out there. Northeast of Lamont is where that is. It just crossed 52, heading into we're going to cross the Mississippi River here momentarily, into the Illinois side of the river, Highway 20, Elizabeth. South of Scales Mound, but Scales Mound, I would continue with your tornado precautions. And then Otter Creek, Bellevue, the Route 62 corridor. It's about, the circulation right now is crossing Highway 61 here, Route 61, just south of Otter Creek, but barely south of Otter Creek. So those are the two circulations we continue to watch here very closely.
Yeah, so again, if you are in Joe Davis County, there's the Mississippi River, there's our storm. Hail core kind of crossing Joe Davis County now. So if you are not taking shelter, you should be if you are south end or west of Highway 20, and really be taking shelter in Galena right now, because there's that hail core heading right to town. I do want to give you a little bit of perspective here. This is the storm number 1. There's the hail core, the rotation. There's storm number 2 as we look toward western Jackson County, and that's crossing 61 as we speak here. And again, we're talking about some very large hail cores here with the possibility here right now as we check out this of hail that is the size of now that it's moved, let me try this one more time. It looks like that hail core did maintain from radar scope or radar sweep to radar sweep. Still talking about ping pong ball size hail here. So we are dealing with these storms that are really kind of monster storms, monster supercells. And as we again show you what's going on as we look toward Joe Davis County, you really need anywhere in the county to be prepared because the second storm that's far enough south that as it moves east, it will cover the rest of the county. Anything that this first storm misses, and in terms of Jackson County, even toward Preston, be watching that sky. You're not officially in a warning at this point, but this storm, effects from that storm, be it wind or maybe even some small hail, could affect you. Savannah right there, and anywhere north and northwest, west of Savannah, I think that's the bottom line right now for these storms. You really need to be considering where you would go when this storm gets closer because you'll probably need to eventually take shelter. And as we go back to our tornado probability, as you can see, it is high for today, and that's why we're dealing with even that probability. It was talking about EF3 potential tornadoes, but now if we're looking at some of the winds that Kyle's been looking at, we could be talking about EF4 tornadoes potentially. This line here could fill in back to Interstate 80, so that would then bring more of Clinton County into play, certainly Cedar County into play. We just have to give this time to see how that evolves. But again, back off to the west, we're already dealing with a patchwork of severe thunderstorm warnings because we've got the cold front coming on in, and that's what's going to catch up with all of us. Now, the storms that we're talking about right now, limited to our northern counties, but as we go back to the west, you can see that this is all the way from the northern border of Iowa to the southern border of Iowa, and as I'm looking at this right now, I do notice that on the leading edge of those storms, you can see a couple more tornado warnings. So once these storms, these supercells move out from the northern portion of the TV6 viewing area, we can't discount the fact that this line could bring not only the strong winds of 70 plus miles per hour, maybe at times up to 80, but also the threat of some spin-up tornadoes, and that's why we have those warnings right up there, I do believe. So as we get back to the viewing area, our main concern right now, it would be these storms here affecting Jackson and Joe Davis County especially. Boy, that hail core just seems to get larger and larger each time we see it, and let's see if that has changed in any way, shape, or form. Still probably going to give me ping pong ball size hail, but we'll take a look at it anyway. It's right on top of Highway 61, now up to golf ball size hail. So yeah, that is increasing. Here toward Galena, we have this smaller hail core, but quarter size hail. That's enough to give you some problems, especially to new vegetation, leaves on the trees that are just sprouting out.
All right,
but we do have some pictures, so let's take a look at what we've been watching there.
And I'm going to explain this, Eric. This is from one of our spotters right now, and we've been kind of oohing and on over this. Hard to see, but out to the west there is a very large and very low wall cloud that's in that area. So we're working on the spotter that we have there is getting closer, but the rotation, he says, is very evident and very strong. And so folks, we're continuing to sit on the cusp of this thing producing a very strong tornado. So we continue to watch that. And as you can see there on radar, we continue to watch that circulation evolve and continue to increase here. If we can come back out here, I do want to show what I'm noticing here with this. And so a couple things to take note of is we put this in motion, and I could just, again, what I know is happening here, Andrew, this is increasing rapidly. So what's happening here, look, these winds are moving away from the radar. This is inflow. You got really intense inflow heading into the storm. We got the greens here are the winds heading out of the storm or away from or towards the radar rather. And so you've got this really strong inflow, really strong circulation developing here. Bellevue, if you're in Bellevue, this is going to continue to strengthen, I think. And as it does so, it's heading right towards you and will cross the river here into Carroll County and also into Joe Davies County here. Route 84 corridor, Elizabeth and Bellevue specifically, that is the area that is most significant right now. The area that we've been watching too near Galena, it was pretty strong there when it was over St. Donatus and very close to developing a tornado. I do believe what we're seeing happen now is this, the two cells have merged, and I think this cell to the south, as we've been talking about, that was my concern here, is that southern flank storm is now going to be the primary area area of circulation. We still continue with that circulation in Joe Daviess County, but Bellevue, Elizabeth, Andrew, Otter Creek, Lamont, and still in Galena, you need to be continuing with your tornado precautions right now. But that is textbook strengthening mesocyclone right there, Eric. I don't know, I've seen that in a while where you get that strong inflow wind. In fact, I'm going to do this real quick before we send it back to Eric.
I'd like to see what that wind is.
That's exactly what I was going to do, is we can see how intense that is. So 62 miles, and this is, folks, this is the inflow. So 70 mile an hour inflow into the storm. So that wind is streaming into that, and it's again moving right towards where you have this wind moving away, and that's going to continue to tighten up here. Unfortunately, it might do so right before it gets to Bellevue. So again, we continue with a tornado warning here with a very strong circulation, and I'm continuing to watch some of our feeds as well. But heading right towards Bellevue at this time. Lamont just to your south and to your northeast. Again, 2 circulations here. The one is now into Joe Daviess County. Galena, you can need to continue with your tornado precautions. Real quick, too, we also have a spotter that's out in the Iowa City area watching this developing storm, or just to the west of Iowa City, and watching these storms evolve. And he's with this one, and he was telling me that he's just north of Iowa City following this particular storm that'll move into northwestern Cedar County. And he said as it's developing, he's watching it, and as it goes up, you can almost see the spiral. We've got strong shear right now, so no doubt that's happening. But near North Liberty, that'll eventually head off to the northeast in the same area where this other tornadic storm has moved through.
Okay, yeah, we've had some viewer questions about are we under a tornado watch? Yes, we are. Everyone but Knox County under a tornado watch. This will go till 8 p.m. Now, this does encompass what's happening now, but also we've been asked about tracking that line of storms that's farther to the west. Well, that's why we have until 8 p.m. our tornado watch, because again, there's the line in central Iowa. It's nowhere near us now, so we're not worried about that at this point. It will approach, and those storms will fill in, and that will be the line that we have to watch. But actually, based on what Kyle was just saying, about this Iowa City storm, looking at ExactTrack earlier today, it was kind of taking these 2 systems and merging them, as it was the first system was being caught up to by that line to the west. When it gets time to track that, we will. And again, now look at this, just north of Interstate 80, well to our west, more toward Des Moines, another tornado warning has been posted on that line because the possibility of some spin-up tornadoes perhaps. Haven't really been delving into that one so much because we've been busy with the storms that are here now, and that's what we'll continue to do. So as we get a little bit closer into those, we'll get back to that rotation, because I do want to make sure you know exactly where that is, and it is closing in now on the Mississippi River. But again, look at the hail core to the north starts to diminish. Hail core to the south, that one is starting to really blossom, as again, we're just talking about that inflow, this storm getting to be a bit more of a deal here, and that circulation that is heading toward extreme northeastern Jackson County along with the hail. So if you're in this area, anywhere from Galena, even north to the Wisconsin border, down to Bellevue and points west, down to Highway 61 north of Maquoketa, you really need to be in your shelter, and that would go for anybody who's in eastern Jackson County and really at least the eastern half of Joe Daviess County as well.
We'll stay on Eric's shot here. Eric, if you go into Galena, I could see what's happening here. We talked about that circulation. That storm cycled, but it's coming right back, and it's right over top of Galena. There is increased rotation. So if we go to the velocity, and it's right where that hail core is too. And so yeah, look at that right there. That is intensifying, and that was literally one scan, and now boom, we're back to a very strong circulation there, right over top of Galena. If you're in Galena, you need to be in your shelters right now.
Yeah, there's Highway 20 as we work our way down to Eagle Ridge, and then eventually to Elizabeth, down to the bottom of your screen. So if you're Shapville, Rodden, Elizabeth, these areas here, Galena, of course, you need to be taking shelter right now. We'll come out a little bit now that we're on this product to take a look at the rest of the rotation that's happening. And again, it's really strong right there over Galena. We've got some peaks there. And then again, we're of course tracking that southern rotation, and that is getting down toward Bellevue now as we drop a little bit south. There we go. And you can see that is working its way right up 62. Boy, right up 62 between Andrew and Bellevue. Taken that road a few times. Wow, and again, that is a very strong circulation. So within both the tornado and severe thunderstorm watch, if you are, say, from Andrew, if you are east of Andrew to 52, and north of that line, and you can just see right where it is here on the radar, you really need to be taking shelter. And take a look at the topography here. See all those little vales and the plateaus and the little valleys there? Those are what are filling up with rain. Maybe not so much here because of course we can see them, but a little farther to the north. That's the geography we're worried about, and that's why we right now have a flash flood warning for Dubuque and Joe Davis County. Perhaps with the intensity of this storm here in Jackson County, that flash flood
Eric,
warning
this
might
is
get
about on the
extended a
ground
little bit
in
farther.
Galena. Over top of Galena right now, there could be I'm looking at a camera, there could be a tornado on the ground over top of Galena. On top of that, I'm looking at right here, here's Galena proper. Right now, I'm looking at a camera, and it looks like it is very close to the ground. If you want to take a look at that and see, I think it might be on the ground. We did see some debris with it. This is right over top of Galena right now. If you're in Galena, you need to be in shelter right now. What do you think, Eric?
If it's anywhere, it's right there behind the trees, so I can't really see for sure.
But it's a rapid rotation here that's continuing. But I just noticed here too, and I'll check this again. West Heller Lane is where this is at. But right now the circulation itself, the shears about combined, damaging wind threat. We could see damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour. But within this circulation, the shears up to about 120, 125 mile an hour shear. So very dangerous situation. Stagecoach Trail, also Scales Mound. This might impact Scales Mound, Elizabeth Scales Mound Road, Watcher Road, Territory Drive, also here towards Blackjack Road. And again, folks, it is right over top of Galena and continues off to the northeast. Very intense circulation here. Continues to move off to the northeast. Another area too, it might go north of Elizabeth, but if you're in Elizabeth, I continue with your tornado precautions and do so. But again, okay, we got a view from Chestnut Mountain Resort. Let's take a look at that right now if we can. Okay. Thank you. Okay, shows heavy rain. You can see there, very heavy rain now falling at Chestnut Mountain. Marcia, thank you for that as well. So we continue with that. Let's go back here to radar. We want to give the latest information, times of arrivals, and exactly where the circulation is at. We are very close to. Wow, look at that. That's so impressive here, folks. And yeah, so it looks like it's very close, if not on the ground. So right now, Watcher Road, Stagecoach Trail, and again, we're going to work on getting some of these views for you. But a new update here continues to increase. Stagecoach Trail. Also, here's Highway 20. This is right now, I would say at this point, the tornado, if it is on the ground, and I would say
it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because, and that's the thing here too, folks. We have a lot of humidity, and we live in an area that is not the plains. So what that means is it's very hard. You get one hill or bluff, and you are in bluff country up here. But West Heller Lane, Highway 20, Irish Hollow Road, Watcher Road, Territory Drive, all these areas. Now this is that Galena territory right here. That is where it's heading. If you're in Galena territory, you need to be in your safe spot now. And again, folks, I want to reiterate something. This is not a situation where you want to try to ride this out. You need to be in your basements. And if you don't have a basement, you need to get to the center part of your house, a closet or bathroom, and put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. So Galena territory right now, the circulation is now just outside of Galena proper, so downtown Galena. I wouldn't say you're in the clear yet, but that circulation has now moved just to your east. Very strong circulation here. Again, I'm going to keep naming off some of these streets and areas here. Galena territory, Eagle Ridge Drive, over here towards Elizabeth Scales Mound Road. We are getting close to Mill Creek Road, and eventually, again, maybe Scales Mound, but that is a very impressive circulation. You need to be in shelter right now. Yeah, that is, as you can see, just north of Highway 20 moving toward Eagle Ridge. Here's a look at some of the times. 302 Apple River, Nora 311 West Point at 318 for that circulation, but that's a little bit far out. I don't really want to show you that far out because, again, what we're dealing with right now is where Kyle had things really close in. So let's not worry about too much about the times for the rest of Stevenson County or the county next door. Let's get in here and we will zoom in and get you right back to what we want you to see most, because this is based on the video or the live feed I've been seeing. It's really hard to tell if it's actually a tornado on the ground, but there's definitely some strong circulation that is very evident in this area as our storm chaser is looking toward that rotation that we're seeing on radar. He might be on
on Highway 20. And again, so Shapville, Scales Mound, this is going to be heading your way, probably north of Elizabeth, but you're close enough that you do need to take shelter because, again, at this point, it's hugging Highway 20, which puts it right into the Eagle Ridge area. Of course, one of the plateaus up there on Highway 20 before you go down a little bit farther in elevation either way, either side of it. Zooming in a little bit more, once again, we'll get those streets on there for you. In the Stagecoach area, a little bit closer than that maybe, but there's Stagecoach Drive, there's Wachter Road, Eagle Ridge Drive, Thunder Bay Road, Irish Hollow Road, Mill Creek coming up, P Ridge, Menzimer Road. If you are familiar with any of these or you're looking at the screen and you can pronounce these better than I can, we'll just give you some lead here. There you go. And it's right on the way to Shapville. So in these areas here, a lot of rural roads, some forested areas, some fields and such. These are where these are the areas you need to be taking shelter. That is the tornado that we're tracking, the possible tornado. And I guess just based on Kyle's reaction, we've got something that's pretty impressive.
A couple things, yeah. We're continuing to watch that. We do have reports of power outages in Jackson County, so and that's a sign that we've had. We know that this destructive storm has moved through, but what I was wowing at is we've got the chaser that was on this is now booking it to the east and southeast because they stayed and waited too long and got in the middle of the circulation. But when you see this right here, folks, near West Heller Lane, where we're getting bright greens and I mean that's mixing in there very likely as we have at least if it's not close, we're very close, or if it's not on the ground, we're very close to having a tornado. I want to take a look at the winds and the shear. So 73-mile-an-hour winds, but this is the number to look at. When you see this, the shear number, it takes into consideration the inbound and outbound winds, and that's where you're getting up to EF0, EF1 tornado, and we're looking at this, again, this is the last county to the north for the Quad City National Weather Service. That means that the radar is looking a little bit higher up into the elevation. This is not at the surface, and so when you see that a little bit higher up, that's very concerning, and it continues to strengthen here. So it is over top of the Galena territory right now.
And I want to take
tight circulation.
And let me take a look at this here. I've got this called up here. So look at the circulation south of Bellevue. I want to point something out. We'll go to debris, and we do have a little bit of signature. Here's our rotation right here. There's 367th Avenue, and as we put on our debris signature, this is far away from the radar, but look at this right here. Just due south of Bellevue, there's 362nd Avenue, right along 52. Here's 52. There's Green Island, 52. Not a very populated area. I know there are some fishing cabins in these areas, some farmsteads and such, but that's a debris signature that really has me thinking we might have a tornado on the ground right there, south of Bellevue. Yeah, and it is heading right toward Highway 52. Here's the Savannah Army Depot. Now, if you haven't taken shelter yet there, you need to. There are businesses, there are companies that populate the Savannah Army Depot with their warehouses, obviously volatile chemicals and such, that still remain there, that are actually part of the active working industries there today. That's a debris signature, and with everything that we've seen so far, it could be moving east now. It could be moving a little bit farther northeast now, and if it does jump over the depot, that's a good thing. I think it's right there. That would be right on the Mississippi River, right on 52, just south of Bellevue. There are some a few islands there, and as we look at that debris signature moving farther, maybe to the northeast, then the next point of concern would be not only 84, but we would look at Blackjack Road, or 82, 84, I'm sorry, but Blackjack Road, they're appearing on your screen. So debris signature here with our southern circulation. We're dealing with two possible tornadoes right now, and this one south of Bellevue. That came down in intensity a little bit, but boy, just to its west, that was something to look at. And as we put this back onto base velocity or relative velocity, so we can see where the circulation is now. Yeah, right where that circulation is, boy, that's right where we have our debris signature. So I would bet just south of the state park there, the overlook, if you've ever been up to that, those mounds up there as well, the Bellevue State Park, that's probably right where that went over. So there could certainly be trees that are down, that debris signature moving its way into Illinois now, into kind of the wetlands before it'll start picking up some farmsteads, a little bit more populated, and then head its way toward 84 and maybe just south It'd be interesting. I don't think we can move the Chestnut Mountain cameras, but Chestnut Mountain being up here, boy, that's going to pass just south, I think, of Chestnut Mountain. So we'll keep that here, and we'll go back to debris to see what the latest scan, if we've gotten one. Yeah, it's come back up. Look at that right there. That's possibly a tornado on the ground south of Bellevue, right along Highway 52. Crossing the Mississippi River now, and that's going to maybe just take out portions or touch portions, I should say, northern portions of the Savannah Depot right there as it makes its way on towards Highway 84. There's Rawdon. Of course, Hanover is going to be up here somewhere. We've got the county line situated about there. So we'll continue to track this. But that's interesting, more interesting, I think. Did we get a debris signature on our northern
We did not.
I can take a look.
Yeah, we have not, but I can tell you I've been talking to the Weather Service on this particular storm, and they think that this might be a little bit detached from the rain area, so they're not as concerned, but it is still something that needs to be very much watched. They just put a new tornado warning here. No surprise there. Yeah. So new tornado warning. We'll get the information on that. This will be all of Joe Davis County.
Till 3:30 this one goes. Yeah, that's going to be till 3:30 for Jackson and Joe Davies County.
I'd like to note, Eric, too. Oh, wow. I just noticed this here. Look at that right there. Here to the north of, it would be northwest of Elizabeth. Very notable spike here near that Watcher Road here, and near Elizabeth Scales Mound Road, just to the northwest of Elizabeth. In fact, we can tell you how far northwest of Elizabeth that is. But you folks in Elizabeth should continue with your tornado precautions. Then eventually this will be off into parts of Stevenson County. 5 miles, roughly 5 miles to the northwest of Elizabeth is where we're noticing this circulation. But look at this right here. That is textbook tornado right there, Eric. Look at that. Where you get the gate to gate, where the pixels next to each other. The red and green are maxed out here. So let's take a look at what our shear is. 105 mile an hour shear. We're getting up into starting to kind of get where we're getting into EF1, EF2 tornado range. If we do indeed have a tornado on the ground. If there is not one on the ground, folks, I'm telling you, it's very close, and you want to take this very seriously. Up here, the problem is we're getting some muddled radar data right now.
So far away.
We're getting some hail spikes because there is a lot of hail in this. So unfortunately, it's going to be difficult for us to find that find the debris if we do have a tornado on the ground. But I'm telling you, very much indicative of a tornado on the ground. This is now into areas east of Galena, about due east of Galena right now, just to the north, just barely to the north of Highway 20, here near Elizabeth Scales Mound Road, between Elizabeth and Scales Mound. If you're in Elizabeth and Scales Mound and anywhere in the eastern, we'll say the eastern half of Joe Davies County, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. If you haven't done so, you need to be doing that right now. I also want to continue to watch this circulation, which I still continue to think might become our bigger circulation here. It's over top or just maybe to the southeast of Bellevue, but Blackjack Road, and that will impact Elizabeth. So that one is what we're watching here for Elizabeth. Continue to watch some of the feeds and noticing still that very low wall cloud here, very low to the ground, right near Blackjack Road and very close to Bellevue. The other thing, Eric, and you mentioned this too, and we're going to talk about it again, what we're struggling with here is the visual, because there's so many bluffs and hills. This is a terrible area to storm chase, but we do have chasers out there that are trying to get this. So we're going to continue to watch it. But Route 84 here, Blackjack Road, Elizabeth, you need to take your tornado precautions right now if you haven't done so already.
All right, and as we take a look at the radar as a whole, again, this is Joe Davis County right here. We're down into Jackson County. Look at the size of these hail cores. Now, the tornadoes are very micro-scale events, but boy, we get much more widespread potential for damage as we take a look at the hail, and as we go ahead and give you an idea of what kind of hail we're dealing with. Again, still probably that ping pong to golf ball size around Bellevue or south of Bellevue, but look at the extent of this. I mean, this could be hailing all the way from Bellevue, miles north, miles south, and then just to the north where we have our other circulation that we're looking at near Galena. Quarter size hail, but again, it's a fairly widespread area of hail. So as these hail cores move through, certainly the potential is there for damage. And as we put the radar back on and have this moving, you can see that these hail cores moving again. This major one just going to be south of Galena. Once it crosses the Mississippi, it's right on top of Bellevue right now, but that's going to be south of Galena. A lot of lightning. Again, another difficult thing about being a storm chaser or being a person at your home who just wants to go take pictures of this really cool sky. That lightning is extreme, and you do not want to be outside. Don't even want to be near windows. Again, as we've been saying, when you do take that shelter, and you should be sheltering now in Joe Davis County and northern portions of Jackson County at least, you want to get as many walls between the storm as possible. A window does not count as a wall, so make sure that you are in the lowest level of your home or the building that you're in. Central location is best, and if you don't have a basement, get into the smallest room like a closet or a bathroom, those that would provide the most structural integrity against strong winds. And again, get as many walls between you and the storm as possible. Windows don't count for walls, especially with all that lightning that can go through windows. If we're getting blast of wind right now, we can get hailstones to go through windows, and we are again looking at pretty significant hail here toward Bellevue. That's the latest scan right there, so let's take a look at what we got in terms of the latest in terms of what I want to say is hail size, because I just noticed as I was talking about that a new radar scan came in, and that's probably something that we're also going to look at for circulation as well. But as far as the hail is concerned, going to go and take a look at just how big this hail is just now south of Bellevue, kind of hanging on to that ping pong or golf ball size. Yeah, it went back up, so that did spike a little bit. Now we're at golf ball size for the hail, and as we go back a little bit farther to the west so we can get everything in play here, want to show you where that reflectivity is or the velocity is, and there you see it. Yeah, that's a very well-defined circulation right there, and as we zoom into that one, which is a little bit more concerning based on everything we've heard from storm trackers and the Weather Service, we get right in, and this one is going to be right on top of North Mill Creek Road. There is Elizabeth Scales Mound Road, so that's the in-between. There's Shapville right there. So if you're north of Shapville, west of Shapville, in Shapville, even a little bit farther south of Shapville, you need to take shelter, because there is our circulation right there. And it has really hung on in terms of our radar data throughout the last hour or so. Maybe not quite an hour, but boy, that's the circulation we've been watching. And there it is approaching Shapville. This rotation will also, as it moves east, head toward Apple Canyon Road, Canyon Club Drive, Pea Ridge Road, Shapville Road. So if you're in Joe Davis County, especially central and eastern Joe Davis County, you need to be in your shelter, as this is a storm that we've got chasers on, showing us some pretty impressive pictures of rotation. Not quite sure, and Kyle pointed that out, because of the topography, kind of hard to see if we're looking at a tornado or circulation just at cloud level. But again, this is a very strong rotation. It continues to move, as you just saw in our latest radar scan, a little bit to the east. So if you're Pea Ridge Road to North Mill Creek Road, northwest Apple Canyon Road, Shapville Road, and Shapville itself, this storm is bearing down on you right now, and you need to be taking shelter.
Yeah, I'm continuing to watch some of these, some of this imagery here up to the north in the Galena area here as we watch these chaser cameras. We've got, again, all these different resources. We've got chasers on the ground that we're actually talking to right now. But right now, what I'm hearing from our chasers, if we can come back out here and I can show what we're looking at here, what we're hearing is that the southern flank of that storm is one that we are watching very closely. So, okay, here I'm looking at some chaser cams right now, actually, and they are the one area that I'm very concerned with and continue to be concerned with is going to be here. I'm going to go back into it, folks. Is kind of on the southern flank of this storm, and you can see what's happening. We had two circulations, had two storms, and now it's kind of become one huge Titanic supercell, and it's the chasers I'm watching, and unfortunately the problem that we've got is, again, topography. As mentioned, they're getting up here into the river valley, and you see nothing but trees and hills, and then eventually you see little peaks of the circulation and of the wall cloud. But right here, this is now going to be an Elizabeth area, and Hanover, and what other communities up here? We got Scales Mound, of course, too, Highway 20, but right here, this is developing into a very serious situation, and I think, again, that's where our circulation is starting to kind of take over. And I would say, yeah, if you are in Elizabeth, you need to be sheltering now. Highway 20 right there. Here's Route 84. So really at this point, between Route 84 and Highway 20 is where that circulation is, just moved now, and it's moving closer and closer to Elizabeth. But looking at some of our resources here and some of our sources that we're watching, there is a very well-defined lowering, and at times some funnels are showing. I can't say for sure that that's the case right now, as we just don't have a good visual of it, but we're going to continue to watch that. But very strong circulation. Don't want to take away too the fact that we have that intense, it could be, I think it's a circulation still, but nonetheless very intense winds up here. And that's a circulation for sure, as we've got 90-mile-an-hour shear with that here just south of Scales Mound. Scales Mound, Apple River area, you need to be sheltering right now, and you can see what I'm talking about there. Again, as we continue to get further and further up to the north here, we're now almost out of range of our radar, but we're still getting some good views of this. This is going to be just east of Elizabeth Scales Mound Road. North of North Mill Creek Road is right where we're seeing an uptick in that circulation. Continuance on that tornado warning with very large hail. Eric, are we up to baseball size with this? Or
we'll take a look, but I do want to point out that right down here we do have 70-mile-per-hour winds right along 84 heading into the circulation itself. So those would be winds coming from the southeast. So if you are thinking about driving from Savannah to Elizabeth on 84 right now, I wouldn't do that because we've got those very strong winds, and of course the topography will circulate those a little bit more. But as far as what we're looking at in terms of the hail, we'll go back and see what kind of hail we've got. We've got that
balls
went up a little bit higher, it looks like. And here it comes. Egg hail, egg size hail. So think about that egg you had for breakfast this morning. That's about the size of the hail that we're getting from that core right there. And again, this has just been a monster core that's been continuing right up through Bellevue, now on the way to Elizabeth. It'll cross Highway 20. Perhaps a lot of tree damage in those areas yet to come. But this is kind of following our storm and our circulation. So that's moving kind of to the east, northeast as we put radar back on, and you can see the intensity of these storms and that hail core. First of all, there's our tornado warning. Just want to remind you of that. That goes until 3:30 with the potential for 1 3/4 inch hail, if not more. But then again, as we take a look at the hail itself and its motion, it's working its way right toward Elizabeth. It's going to be right along Highway 20 here in the next couple of minutes as that continues to move to the north and east and follow our rotation. That is what we're watching right here, and that's right on top of Elizabeth here. Again, kind of broad, but there's perhaps maybe, if I was going to say there's something that's spinning there, it's probably just south of Elizabeth right there. And so we've got the circulations, we've got the large hail. You see that green line? That indicates the southern border of a flash flood warning. So we've got all kinds of things going on today with these supercells that have kind of merged now that we've been talking about for a few days, that we would have the tornado threat, we'd have the flash flooding threat, and the strong wind threat. Again, let me show you this here. This is the base wind, and as I query that and give you the information about what these winds are doing here, last time I was poking around in there, we were looking at winds up to about 70 miles per hour or so. Here you go, we're closing in on 70. There's 67, there is 63, and again, those winds feeding in to that circulation, which right now is very close to Elizabeth. Look at that, probably right in there somewhere. Really interesting circulation. Either on this side of Elizabeth might be a couple, because this is a very volatile storm, and it seems to be really energizing over the last few minutes here. So could be looking at some circulations. Obviously, it goes without saying, if you're in Elizabeth, take shelter now. And as we do get in, what I want to do, we'll give you some of the roads around the area as we get much closer into the Elizabeth area. All right, if you're in these areas and you recognize these streets, you need to be taking shelter. So we've got South Becker Road, Apple River Road, Elizabeth Scales Mound Road, Jenny Lane. Let's see, there's Elizabeth proper right on your screen. And as we kind of move a little bit farther over to the west, we can show you what's coming up from the east. Reed Road, Brown Road, Woodbine. So again, Woodbine as well. You folks need to be taking shelter. By the way, it is 3 o'clock. You're watching KWQC TV 6, Davenport, Iowa. This is live storm coverage. We've got tornadoes or potential tornadoes in the northern portion of our viewing area, and this is just round one. Round two comes a little bit later this afternoon into the evening hours. We are under a tornado watch for most of the area until 8 p.m., and that line of storms that's forming in central Iowa, now moving a little bit closer toward us, will likely bring numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, even some more tornado warnings as well. Now, Kyle, with the latest up north.
We're continuing to watch, as you have been as well. This is that product we talked about just a little bit ago called Shear Track, and this is takes all that information that radar is pulling in and looks at all the different elevations, and it shows you where the strongest rotation is. And again, the strongest is the one that's heading towards Elizabeth, maybe just south of Highway 20. That continues to be strong, but it's not the only one. We've got this one that has continued on as it moved over Galena, really strengthened the minute it got just to the east of Galena. But this one here, southeast and east of Bellevue, heading towards Elizabeth, maybe just to your south, but too close for comfort. Stockton. The Pleasant Valley, Illinois, this is, I think, a township or area community out here. This is heading towards you as well. But between Highway 20, maybe just north of Highway 20, down towards the Illinois 78 corridor here, that's where we continue this very strong circulation. Another thing I'm noting, too, is we've got some incredible scenes that we're seeing out of this area. But the cloud-to-ground lightning is pretty impressive, and we have a way to look and see just how significant the lightning is. And look at these. Wow. This is, if you want to talk about intense storm, we have in the last 30 minutes about 1,400 lightning strikes. I'm going to, just because we have so many of them, I'm going to take that down to, I'm going to go last 10 minutes here just to show you. And the last 5 minutes, let's go 10 minutes here. And you can see 228 lightning strikes, but look at all these red dots. Those are positive lightning strikes. Cloud-to-ground lightning. Lightning is one of the deadliest weather phenomena that we have. So not only are we talking about that potential for tornadic activity, very imminent tornado, the large destructive hail up to the size of maybe tennis ball sized hail and damaging winds. The lightning is a very serious situation here for anybody out there. And again, as I'm watching these streams, I'm noticing a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning and very intense lightning. And again, those are the types of lightning strikes that could kill a person if you're out and about. So again, you just, the best idea is just to be inside and be in your shelters here in Joe Daviess County.
Okay, and there's a little bit more strengthening as we can see south and west of that main hail core, because look, new hail core is popping up. That is right along Highway 52 there. As we zoom into it, we'll take a look at that and show you what we're dealing with in terms of hail size. But there you go, just south of Bellevue, probably a little closer toward Green Isle there, but Green Island, there you go. And as we take a look then at what this hail is doing, not very populated area right here, but nonetheless, we're probably looking at quarter-size hail, maybe half-dollar size hail. So that's gaining in strength, and that little hail core has shot up quickly. That is heading right for the Savannah Army Depot. Now, as we go back out, I do want to show you a little bit about what's happening here in terms of our timing for the rest of the afternoon. And it looks like, again, our tornado warnings here will continue till I think about 3:30 or so as we walk these storms out of Joe Daviess County. And Joe Daviess County really getting the brunt of this because cells have merged and now everything is in or just about ready to be in to Joe Daviess County. But as we move on out here, as a matter of fact, we'll make it, oh, there you can see it already. I don't have to move out that far. There is that line, and unfortunately, look what's happening. Not only the yellow boxes, those are severe thunderstorm warnings, but also numerous red boxes along the way. Those are tornado warnings. We're getting hail cores, so as well, as we see right along the cold front there, I mean, we certainly might be dealing with more than just spin-up tornadoes. We could be getting some supercells just right along the front, and as these blast on through, that will be what happens starting much later this afternoon into the evening hours. And we do have that tornado watch till 8 o'clock, and what that means is when you think of that watch box covering the TV6 viewing area, it'll be about 8 o'clock before storms clear. So that means between now and 8 p.m. those storms will be getting out of Bureau County. So that means once these kick up here, we're going to get some fast movement of those from west to east. And those are the storms we'll be ready to deal with in an hour or so, maybe a little more than that. But right now, it's about Joe Daviess County. Anywhere in the county, you need to be taking shelter right now.
Eric, a couple things I want to take a look at here. We do continue with this tornado warning here, right near just to the southeast of Scales Mountain. Very strong circulation developing. It's been developing. It's been there. But this is the Rush area here in the northeastern part of Joe Daviess County. Apple River, North Stagecoach Trail, you need to be taking shelter now. Here's Canyon Park Road as well. That circulation is very intense. We've got a lot of folks on this storm. I'm watching some of the visuals. We do have an image. Let's take a look at that image that one of our spotters was able to send us. And again, another thing that we're dealing with is spotty cell coverage up in this area. We all know how that is, but we do have an image, and it's hard to see. He's in Stockton right now, looking off to just to the northwest, and he is noticing way back in there is that lowering, there is a wall cloud, and he's saying very strong circulation continues, and he feels like there is a tornado imminent. We're going to continue to keep in touch with him, and if we can get his live video up here momentarily, we will certainly try to do that. But the other thing too is, as mentioned, again, we don't want to lose sight of what this is. This is a very dangerous situation here for the folks up in northeastern Joe Daviess County. But as Eric was talking about, I know a lot of people are asking here on our digital streams and on Facebook as well. And again, we are streaming this coverage on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So if you have to go to shelter, you can take us with you as you hit shelter. We're going to be covering there. But a lot of people asking about this next line, Eric, and there was recently a new discussion put out from the Storm Prediction Center. I'm going to hand it over to Deanna Rodriguez. She has a little bit more information on that. Deanna, can you tell us what the latest is from the Storm Prediction Center?
Yeah, Kyle. So I've been keeping a very close eye on radar here behind the scenes, and also monitoring the chat here with our partners at the National Weather Service. In that current discussion, you can see that line is very evident. It's that cold front that's going to be moving. So that will be the second round of storms that we'll be getting here this evening. And we right now, yes, we are keeping a very close eye on that tornado warning up to the north, but off to the west. It's not just here in central Iowa, that extends all the way through parts of Missouri and even Wisconsin. And that you could see there, the storms seem to be strengthening as they continue to progress here closer to the TV6 viewing area. It's not only severe thunderstorm warnings, we're also seeing tornado warnings. And you can see within that, if we zoom in, there's also some pretty large hail that it's producing. So we're not necessarily going to be getting much relief here from the active weather as we get into the next couple of hours. And they're saying that, that thunderstorm activity will continue to increase along that cold front that's going to continue here. I know everyone keeps asking in the comments, potential timing. It could be anywhere from 5 to 9 p.m. here tonight, but of course we are keeping an eye on that tornado warning that we currently have up north. On radar, it does kind of seem like that line of storms kind of wants to try and kind of connect to what we already have going on. That line does seem to be moving here pretty fast, and there is that potential. You can see kind of there near Iowa City. Get ready, there could be some potential thunder there, a lot of lightning. So that does seem like these storms are packed with a lot of lightning and that heavy rainfall. And speaking about heavy rainfall, we've had a lot of rain already all week long with all these storms that we've had here. And as we get through the next couple of hours, we can anticipate to have a lot more rain. Matter of fact, we have currently a flash flood warning. Yep. And that is for Jackson, Dubuque, and Joe Daviess County. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that does get extended here within parts of the viewing area. So as of right now, while we are keeping a close eye, like I mentioned, to that current tornado warning, and even that flash flood warning, this system we're tracking, that cold front, when it moves in here this evening, that's going to be pretty widespread. So I do expect for some of us here later on to be dealing with flash flood warning and even some more tornado warnings along with severe.
I totally agree.
And here we go. We've got the flash flood warning on the screen there. That goes till 8:30. That is for Dubuque, Jackson, and Joe Daviess County. So there you go. Again, outlining that extremely heavy rain that's come with our supercells here. And as we back off a little bit and go a little bit farther to the east, what you're going to see, again, we've got some major storms with those hail cores, all the lightning, and boy, look at the hail core now. This one that was the one that just jumped over into the county here. We're looking at hail the size of, and let's see what we can find out. That's probably widespread tennis ball size hail now, and that's right up 84. Hanover right there. Boy, if you're in Hanover, you need to be inside, away from windows. Hopefully you've gotten things away from the or into the garage or into the house, but as we take a look, you're going to see Hanover right there. And that is not what I wanted to do. Let's zoom in here. There we go. All right, Hanover is going to be right there where it is about to get hit with some strong hail. There is the curve in the road. There's Jefferson Street, Spear Road off there. Apple River comes through, and yeah, look at that hail core just about to hit Hanover. So again, if you're in these areas, southwestern Joe Daviess County, because of this hail core, you'll need to take shelter now, because again, this is something that will be rather dangerous to be anywhere in the vicinity of. And as we zoom back out, you can see there's the Savannah Army Depot. This is on the way to Elizabeth, moving up toward Elizabeth, right along 84. And as we go back out, that's probably going to be the last maybe for this round in terms of hail as this supercell is continuing to make its move farther to the north. And you'll see it with all that lightning. Cal's been talking about that. We've got our tornado warning that extends to the east through the eastern portion of Joe Davis County, and our rotations right now as we take a look at where they happen to be. Boy, just look at the right there. We've got that's really an impressive rotation right there. This little, look at that. And that's in terms of roadways. We're at North Broadway Road, Scout Camp Road, Canyon Park Road, Fiedler, Upman, if you're in these areas here near Rush, just around Rush. Boy, that is quite a couplet there, no doubt about
Eric,
that.
I'm looking at that here in the 3D view, something we don't show very often, but this is very telling, because what we could see is, or what we look for here, if we can come back out here, is look at this. And Eric, I'll have you look at this. We notice that this is concerning, because look at where, as we cut that storm kind of in half here, if we can come out here to the desk, we can show that to you. But the strongest winds are close to the surface. So there we go. Thank you. They're not aloft. You get these brighter colors here. This is about 10,000 feet up in the air. The stronger winds are close to the ground. So that tells you we are very close. If we don't have a tornado on the ground, we're very close to that. We've been noticing that wall cloud. But these strong winds that we're sampling aren't aloft like they are a lot of times. They're close to the ground, and that is why we're concerned about this, and we continue to be so. This is in that storm that you were just showing, Eric, in the Elizabeth area.
Yeah, and it is just to the northwest of Rush, Illinois, getting into northern, actually northeastern Joe Davis County as we take a look back out here, because we've got a few things going on here. Not only this rotation here, this is the one that we've been kind of following. This is the one that went toward Galena, or just south of Galena, toward Eagle Ridge. Now it's making its move up to northeastern Joe Davis County, but also some more strong winds, perhaps right around Woodbine, and then as we move a little bit farther south than that, let me come out here. Again, we're noticing that real strong hail, but that's kind of the end of the circulation thread on the tail of that supercell right there. And as we get back to that, you'll notice it's going to pop up here, and just, I mean, like a proverbial sore thumb. There you go. That hail core is moving right toward Hanover, probably over Hanover now, toward Elizabeth. But our tornado warning continues officially till 3:30 p.m. And I will tell you this, that we will work out from here, and if there are no other warnings, we'll get you back at least to TV6 regular programming. But look at what's coming our way, and this is the second wave. These are the storms that will be with us here late this afternoon, maybe around 5 o'clock at the earliest, through the mid-evening hours. And those storms, not only do they have severe thunderstorm warnings all up and down, but also tornado warnings. And I did get a chance to look into some of these, and yeah, there are some strong rotations within those, also more hail cores. So this is going to be the most threatening line of storms, because it's going to affect everybody in the TV6 viewing area. So once we pop on with warnings for those storms, it's probably going to be another 3, possibly 4 hours of watching that line cross from, say, eastern or western Muscatine and western Cedar County all the way over to eastern Bureau County before we are completely out of the threat. So that's your Friday evening, folks. If you had plans, make sure you have alternate plans, and maybe that plan now is to stay home, stay with the family, stay with the kids, the pets, make sure everybody has a safe spot to go when those storms make their way into the area, because they will be doing that through the evening hours.
Yeah, I'm sending a picture over. I just put it in our chat with the booth, so if we can get that up to, it's our spotter who's been sending me some information, but a couple things. You know, we took this 3D cut of the storm, and very interesting. We got a new tornado warning, maybe just an update. We'll get to that in a minute, but look at this, Eric. This is interesting. You want to see where the updraft is? It's right there. In fact, let's take a look at, we're seeing what this looks like on radar. Let's take a look at what it looks like on the ground, and we've got spotters there if we can take that picture. And you can see that is a very well-developed mesocyclone here with a lowering and a wall cloud, and this is that wall cloud that we've been talking about. And you can see how close that is to the ground. And what I think is happening here, because we're getting some reports of damage, and I think we're seeing maybe intermittent touchdowns with this. We get these spikes on velocity and a little bit of a debris signature being indicated as well. But that is right now taken near the Elizabeth area and continues to be, we're going to continue to watch this here. It's a very dangerous storm, but again, that is what a wall cloud looks like. It's very close to the ground because you can see where the base of that storm is, and it's that kind of in the middle there, that extension even further. And our concern at times has been that maybe that whole thing is on the ground. So we're going to continue to watch that. But the hail has been an issue too. And look, we're passing, here's 40,000 feet, and you can see these cloud tops are now peaking a little bit further back here. We're peaking well above that, and that's just some incredible storms to get storms to climb that high, especially this time of year. I mean, we are in the peak severe weather season, but that's something that usually happens for our area at least in July and August when we have just copious amounts of heat and energy and humidity. So just shows you how primed up we are today and how volatile the environment is. But going back to the situation at hand with the current situation here in Joe Daviess County. I mean, Joe Daviess County has just been hammered here, and same thing with Jackson County too. But we continue with an uptick, and I think that we are kind of seeing this thing cycle a little bit again because that hail is probably going to be, we're up to egg-size hail. So once again, it is cycling here. It looks like going back to velocity to talk about circulations. What a mess this is. I mean, you've got little pockets of circulation throughout the entire thing. I will say this, based off of this view, Eric, I don't see a defined circulation like we once did. Yeah. Which is good. That's great news.
Unfortunately, though, with the hail core, that huge hail core on the southwest side of the storm, our radar data might be kind of getting a little blocked. Yeah, it is pretty far away too.
Okay, let's see. We got some updates here.
I do want to say though that throughout Joe Daviess County,
observed tornado for Joe Daviess County. Let's get some information on this. The tornado is on. They see that the banner just turned pink there. We got a tornado on the ground. Law enforcement confirmed tornado between Stockton and Elizabeth. This is on the ground. Oh, I can see it right there. Yep, there it is. It is on one of our chaser cams. There's a tornado on the ground between Stockton and Elizabeth. So let's get that. Let's get in here and take a look at where Elizabeth is. And all right, so I see where it's at here. So I'm gonna stop this real quick and show you exactly where it's at. Here's Stockton, Elizabeth, right down. Let's see here. Where is Elizabeth here? Right over here too. Okay, so. We continue with the observed tornado. It's going to be in this vicinity here. Yeah. Let's see, Morseville Road, East Morseville Road, Center Road, East Center Road, South Willow Road, Morseville, East Parker Road, Stockton. Again, Highway 20, it might get up to Highway 20 as well. But, okay, there's Elizabeth there too. So we got multiple areas.
It's pretty convoluted.
It is very really messy. Convoluted. But I also, Eric, I wonder if they have maybe are doing something because look at this was, it kind of all went down, but especially now that we're getting reports of a confirmed tornado. So the Highway 20 corridor, Woodbine, East Tow Line Road, Canyon Road, South Apple River Road here in Joe Daviess County. We have law enforcement that have confirmed a tornado. There's a tornado on the ground, and I could see some visuals of it too, and it looks like it's on the ground. I'm gonna see if our spotter has it. Okay, let's see if we've got.
All right, well, so if you're in those areas, I mean, you need to take shelter now. I mean, Elizabeth, Woodbine to Stockton, up to Rush, even down farther toward, is that Elmoville? Yeah, Elmoville. These central areas here of Joe Daviess County, just shelter now. We've got the report, which at the time is probably maybe 2 or 3, 4 minutes old, of an observed tornado, and we still have it over on one of our spotter cams, our chaser cam video. So that means that it's there, and even though we can't really completely pick out where it is here on the circulation map, you just need to go with it. Take shelter, make sure that you are safe, because once we get the reports from our spotters and they come through the weather service, then we know something's out there, be it hard to see on radar. This is pretty far away from the radar site. Radar's been getting a little bit convoluted here in the northern portion of Joe Daviess County, especially north of 20. But we do have these areas of circulation kind of butting up against each other. Just kind of hard in this state to pick out exactly where it happens to be. But it's just the word to take shelter in these areas. And as we try things a little bit differently here, not so sure that that's going to make much of a difference, but somewhere maybe right here on 20, there's a little, this is base velocity, so this is a little far away for that. But gives me a little better idea. Maybe that's right on Highway 20. That's the only thing I can see that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and I think near the Woodbine area, I actually just was talking with meteorologist Kevin Phelps, and he's looking at this too. And yeah, we do notice it's tough. It's tough to see, but there is a little bit of a dropout. Might be over top of Stockton, unfortunately. So if you're in Stockton, we've had plenty of warning out there, no doubt about that. You've had probably about an hour notice here as this continues to move through. But Canyon Park Road, Stockton Road, Chelsea Road are some of the roads that we are going to see impacted by this tornado. Again, confirmed tornado on the ground. That's confirmed by law enforcement here near the Woodbine area, along Highway 20 between Stockton and Elizabeth. Again, maybe north of the Morseville area, but what we have here is we've got this circle you see here is the debris tracker, and it shows a little bit of a dropout here that could indicate where some debris has been lofted into the air.
Yeah.
Again, we confirm, again, several sources confirming this tornado on the ground. And I think it might be, I'm going to step away for just a second.
Here, come back to me.
There's power flashes, and it's a large tornado.
Right
it's
there.
a large tornado on the ground right now.
Just right on Stockton, just south of Stockton on that road that goes through Stockton. That main north-south.
Yeah, it is a large tornado. We got a large tornado on the ground right now, and I'm going to get some look at that. Then there's power flashes too.
Oh yeah, on top.
Yeah, if you see it, it's a wedge.
Yeah,
So what we have here what we have here, folks, is right in this area, and I'm going to try to get a specific on. I'm going to step away. I'll be right back there. But what road we're on here? Considered near Galena, but yeah, it is right here is where they're traveling on Highway 20. They're looking this direction here towards Stockton, and it might be
78.
Here. Yeah, so it is they're near 78.
Yep, right on 78 through it's just south of Stockton, just northwest of Morrisville.
Right there. Okay,
Illinois.
so yeah, we can see it now. So here we go, folks. Yeah, big dropout here now.
Here, come back here and you can
Yeah, it's Joe Daviess County. That's correct. And let's
just
go to Eric.
moved. It just moved in this last radar span. I'm really close in, but here it is. It was just south of Stockton on 78. Now it's on Airport Road, Wards Grove. If you're around that old township, here's the county line, by the way. So it's almost out of the county, but before it leaves, it is right south of East Airport Road, north of Curtis Road. There's Wards Grove, and this is Willow Road here, South Willow Road. That's what we're looking at right there. That is a tornado that we're seeing pretty clearly on our chaser cam video. So, boy, if you're in the extreme eastern portion of Joe Daviess County, you need to take shelter. You have got a tornado on the ground heading your way, probably on top of Wards Grove right at this moment, moving to the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour, folks.
Yeah, dangerous. I continue to look at some different visuals there and talking with, let's see here, I'm talking with some of the spotters that are out there in this right now, and they continue to see, they're trying to send us some videos so we can pass that along to you. Again, we're in an area that is pretty rural, and cell phone signal is difficult, but we have multiple areas. And Eric, look at this here too now, just I'd say in the southeast corner, we've got multiple areas that we're watching, and it's kind of indicative too on what we're looking at. Can we pull up that image that we had just moments ago? Now, I want to make sure that folks know that this was taken probably about 15 minutes ago, but once we get that up, if we could show that, and we'll show you at least what we're talking about here, because within that image, you saw several areas and you can see that right there is, we've got the wall cloud, which the wall cloud is the area, that's kind of what precedes a tornado comes right after that. So wall cloud forms, and out of that wall cloud is the concentrated, that's the updraft, that's the concentrated area of circulation, and that's where the tornado drops. Right now, we have still kind of looks like that right now, but we have a tornado that is also skirting the ground, and as it does so, it is hitting some power lines, and we are seeing numerous power flashes now, and it looks like it just crossed 78 right now. Again, multiple areas near Stockton, one near this Pleasant Valley in southeastern Joe Daviess County. Again, folks in Joe Daviess County, you should be in shelter. You've had plenty of warning with this. Again, Pleasant Valley area here near East Willow Road, and then also up towards Highway 20. That's got to be. We will get a new warning here that we'll get to in a moment. But just based off of this new update here, I'd say it's near the Pleasant Valley and Elmoville area here. We'll take a look at. There's the debris drop out there that Eric has been showing right over top of the East Willow Road area, South Fitzsimmons Road. We got South Town Hall Road. Bayer Road, and again, East Back Road is another area too where this circulation is moving right over top and what is a confirmed tornado. So so we continue to watch this again, folks. It is momentarily going to be out of our viewing area, but nonetheless, we've got viewers out here. We want you folks to be in your shelters right now. Lake Carroll Boulevard. I know there's a community out here in northeastern Carroll County. You might be okay. Yeah, this is just north of the Lanark area, but north of 52 here. Heads up, you're not under a warning, but you're pretty close to this. We got to watch how this evolves. This might, I do think it will stay to the north into Joe Daviess County, but several circulations and several dropouts here continue where we notice maybe some debris being lofted into the air, most notably right now near East Willow Road in Joe Daviess County. I want to take a look one more time before we take it back to Eric here at, so 80 mile an hour shear. Again, a little bit of a little futile to take a look at that because we're so far away from the radar, but 102 mile an hour winds. So nonetheless, it's going to be a damaging tornado. Real quick too, Eric, the one thing I did as well, because we were showing, we're at the cusp here. We cross over into other territory, wow, look at that, other weather service radars that cover just north of Joe Daviess County. That's another territory. We take their radar, look at how, so this is looking even a little bit higher than the Quad Cities radar, and it shows a very intense circulation up above. So this particular, the southeastern Joe Daviess County storm here is the area I'm most concerned with, but even over Stockton too, we continue with these two areas of circulation right now.
Yeah, and right now we have been talking about the flash flooding threat. 1 to 2 inches of rain over these areas where it just drains out from the plateaus very quickly toward the Mississippi. So again, that's another facet of these storms. As far as our warnings are concerned, of course, we have our tornado warning. That goes till 3:30, so that will be over shortly. But we'll track that rotation just outside of Joe Daviess County. There is our flash flood warning in green, and there is our new severe thunderstorm warning. This goes till 4 o'clock for portions of Jackson and Joe Daviess County, and we'll show you what the concern is here with the radar as this next storm here, small hail producer right now, but mainly again heavy rain and some strong winds that is moving through the area. So back to what's going on in eastern Joe Daviess County with our tornado warning as we get back there and see again in those areas that are just on the eastern border of the county, right around here with our multiple circulations perhaps. Any word?
Well, we could stay on Eric here, but new tornado warning that got issued does take it into that area we were talking about in northern Carroll County. So Carroll County is technically under that tornado warning now. But yeah, Eric, I want to show, I want you to go take a look at this. I'm going to take a look at something here. I want you to go take a look at that live camera there because we might have a very large wedge tornado on the ground. We're going to confirm that here. Again, we've got chasers on this. This is near the Lena area. I think the whole thing is sitting on the ground, and I'm working on getting this on the air. Can you tell me what name is on that?
Unless it's rain wrapped.
Yeah, it could be a rain wrapped tornado here too. I want to take a look at that. But it appears right now we've got a very large area on the ground, or they're close to the ground. It could be a tornado, very large tornado.
That's from Vince.
Okay, so in this area, and you can see here too, another thing that we have is not only do we have the tornado itself, but something I just popped on here is we've got several we call low-level locks, and actually this is a tornadic vortex signature that's being indicated here near the Stockton area. So very dangerous situation here. This is again, we continue with a confirmed tornado here, southeastern Joe Daviess County, with what looks to be a very large circulation, possibly a very large tornado. We've had reports of damage, and I can tell you too, watching it, we've seen power flashes as well. So again, very dangerous situation there for you folks in southeastern Joe Daviess County and extreme northeastern Carroll County as well. Cherry Grove, Shannon area to Woodland, and eventually here the Lauren area, and then eventually it'll be off into Stevenson County. But I do think that again, this is a very serious storm, very serious situation here. It's 3:30, so that tornado warning that was in place for the majority of Joe Daviess County has expired, but we're not over with this. Look at what happened out here. We got still some redevelopment and a base level severe thunderstorm warning. Actually not. It's going to be for $half sized hail. So we continue to watch that near the Galena area. So round 2 out of what's going to be probably 3 or maybe even 4 rounds for you. We got an extension, looks like, on that tornado watch. So we might have added some counties to that. But again, folks, I want to go back into this storm and look at our, because again, it looks like we have a very destructive tornado on the ground. And I want to take a look at this because we can It's hard to tell, folks. I'm telling you. We're looking at this, and Eric, I don't know if you're seeing anything with the debris tracker.
Well, let's see. Debris is nothing on debris at all, and that could be a function of the distance from the radar. But we're looking at areas here at Katzenberger Road, Lauren Road, south of Pleasant Valley, north of Poles Grove, which is in a township in Carroll County, Stryker Road, Blue Mountain Road, Skunk Hollow Road, Beyer Road, Town Hall Road. If any of these roads sound familiar, that's where we're getting our circulation here.
Yeah, and continue to watch here. It is very muddled on radar, but the good thing is we've got visuals of it from our from storm chasers and trackers in the field. That is, oh my gosh, that is very impressive, and I want to see if I can get that on the air. So I'm working on that right now. But yeah, we continue with that very well-defined circulation, Eric.
Yep, and as we go back here, we'll see where it is, right south of Pleasant Valley. And it's, again, air going away from the radar, air going toward the radar to our Quad City site. And this is something that we've been tracking now for quite some time. New tornado warning that does include extreme northern portions of Carroll County. That's why, because look at where that circulation is south of Pleasant Valley. It is extending a little bit farther south of the Joe Davis County border. And as we take a look at the radar itself and put everything into motion here, there you go, another large hail core. This new warning goes till 4:15, this tornado warning, as we just go back to the radar itself and clear things out a little bit. There you can see how this has all been evolving. This storm kind of grew a southern flank. It is now moving through northern Carroll County. There's Mount Carroll proper. There's Savannah, of course, and Highway 52 between the two. And there you see up toward Cherry Grove. That warning extends just a little bit into Carroll County, but it's right there around Pleasant Valley where we're looking at not only that hail core, which seems to be coming down in intensity a little bit, but once again, as we take a look at what's going on at the bottom of the cloud, those circulations there becoming a little bit more prominent than they were not too long ago. So that's what we're watching, and this again a storm that's probably doing about 45 miles per hour. So as we take this, go out a little bit, we'll give you an idea of where this one's going to track. And again, really at this point, I'll do this over here so we don't get so much real estate involved, but this will give you an idea.
Okay, let's take a look at this live. We got live video that we've been watching, Eric, here. We can take a look at that here. If we can get that up, let me know, guys, in the booth when we can have that up. And let's take a look at that. This is live video coming in from the field here, looking off into this storm. So once you guys have that ready, let me know and get that punched up.
For the time being, though, there you can see the ETAs for the next few towns, Bolton and Florence. And again, this is going to be going into the next county over here, but still affecting portions of Joe Davis County and northern Carroll County with video that we have coming up. Check it out.
Let's take a look at this. Is live video. Look at that. That's impressive. That is the mothership supercell look right there, and that whole thing is the rotation. And what we're seeing is in that circulation, we're seeing pockets of rotation, and possibly, not possibly, we've had confirmed touchdowns, and we've even seen it as well as, again, the tall tale sign is when you see those power flashes in confined areas. So this is just south, I believe they're get an exact location.
Freeport shelter, Freeport.
So we can, get their audio down. What we can tell you, this is just south of Highway 20, near the Stockton area right now. And so you folks in Stockton, and again, off into the far eastern parts of Joe Davies County, you need to be taking shelter now.
All right, and as we come back out, oops, don't want to trip over everything here. Let's just get you back to radar here so you can see the extent of the storm. Large hail core there, just about to move through Stockton. Actually, it has been moving through Stockton and points south. A little bit of tail development there towards southern Carroll County now. Some more thunderstorms trying to develop. At least we've got the rain, no lightning yet. And again, we're kind of walking out that severe thunderstorm right over Galena. That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for that storm that's popped up. But again, mainly 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe hail up to about 1.25 inches in diameter. There's Galena, back into that storm about to move out. Then things will quiet down once these get out of Joe Davis County. We'll keep an eye here to see if anything develops in Carroll County, but that little cell right there really hasn't shown much. It's trying to gain a little bit of strength, but again, right now we could have some tornadic activity in southeastern Joe Davis County, south of Stockton. So if you're in those areas or adjacent areas to the east, you will want to be taking shelter because that monster storm is coming your way. Not only the heavy rain, and you can see there's our flash flood warning, but also a severe thunderstorm warning for reports of Joe Davis County, and then our tornado warning.
Let's go back to that live video.
Live view that we have right now.
Yeah, we'll go back to that live video if we still have it, because what we've got there is right on the, where you can see that guy in the blue there taking pictures. On the left-hand side, there was just a brief touchdown there on the left-hand side, but it looks that's what we call a rain-wrapped mesocyclone right there, and I think that this circulation is tucked back into that into the core of that, and so you're not going to see it. These folks need to get heading to the south or east.
Well, the interesting thing too, look right behind the tip of the antenna. It looks bluish on TV, but I can guarantee you that's probably greenish, and that's right where our hail core is too.
Exactly, absolutely.
Our large hail core, so that's a great shot.
Yeah, so that we continue with that again. That's in far eastern Joe Daviess County. You folks need to continue with your tornado precautions. Again, we were seeing intermittent touchdowns. These guys are doing what they should have done maybe a minute ago, and are moving either south or east very fast, because they're about to get into the core of that, which again is not a place you would ever want to be, because not only are we talking that tornado potential, but within that core we got very heavy rain and very large hail continuing on.
All right, and there is a look at that hail. As you can see, this large hail core just took in one radar scan. It started to collapse a little bit, but just in case you're interested, let's take a look at what we are dealing with in terms of the hail here with this hail core. I think it's a little heavier up towards Stockton, but as we go in and take a look at what we've got coming down from that hail core, quarter-size hail, fairly standard. I could zoom in a little bit and get an idea of what's going on with that little darker blue there. That might be a ping pong ball or a golf ball size hail. Let's check this out. Might be a $50 size. Yeah, $50 size hail there, and that's just outside of Stockton. That's where a rotation within all that rain happens to be. I mean, that's one, what we call the mesocyclone. You can see that whole rotating thunderstorm, and then on the bottom of it with all that heavy rain, it's really hard to pick out the individual rotations, but of course we've had those reports. There goes the hail core. That is the county line right there. So as this moves out, we'll continue to track it just a few more minutes here, but the new warning that is encompassing this storm goes till 4:15, and it does include portions of Carroll County, but Carroll County won't really be much into the threat here pretty soon as we come on out and give you an idea of where everything is happening right now. With the radar. It's moving pretty quickly, about 45 to 50 miles per hour off to the north and east. And there you can see the severe thunderstorm warning that's back off to the west. Our tornado warning, did that just get, that didn't just get canceled, did it?
No.
No, okay. Yeah, there it is. Wrong map.
And I'll just say, too,
4:15.
Yeah, Eric, we can stay with Eric, but they're noting that they're intensifying rotations. The inflow cells that are moving into the inflow are making them fear that as this heads into Stevenson County, that there's going to become a dominant storm, kind of what we've been seeing happen or try to happen here. But multiple circulations are being indicated and noted by the National Weather Service, too, and they continue with those tornado warnings and continue with the concerns on this storm.
Yeah, pretty big rotation there near West Point, and still another one now, right, approaching Stockton all over again. There you can see, here we go, this rotation much closer to Stockton, and as we get in a little bit closer, we'll give you an idea of some of the streets once again as this moves to the north and east. I'll get in a little bit closer in just a moment, but there you can see some of the streets. Curtis Road, Center Road, again, our circulation right here, kind of right on 78 at Center Road. That's right in the center of our circulation, at least on this radar scan. It's probably a little farther northeast now, probably at Highway 20. Around or just east of Stockton and continuing to move off to the north and east. And there you can see Stockton Road, Tiger Whip Road, all north of Curtis Road right now. So as it approaches North Park Road, this is the area where we're concerned about. You need to be taking shelter, of course. I mean, from 78 certainly east to the county border and even into Stevenson County. But if you're anywhere near Stockton right now, that's where we have an apparent tornado. It's this far away from the radar site. That's a pretty impressive couplet that we're getting here, that lock right there. So that would indicate that we've got something very tall throughout the cloud, which could be getting to the ground in terms of at least a funnel cloud, if not a real tornado. So again, that's why you're taking shelter. And as we move a little little bit farther to the north and east, we get, again, Tiger Whip Road. Unfortunately, our roads go away when we get outside of technically what is our viewing area. So Chelsea Road, there's the county line, there's Highway 20, and as you see south of West Point, we intersect with 73 there, where we have another circulation, which is coming up on West Point. Could be some strength there. Let's take a look at it. Debris is a little far away, but nonetheless, we'll give it a shot. Yeah, right there, south of West Point, just where we had those brighter colors on reflectivity or velocity, which is the movement of the air within the storm. Now we're picking up perhaps some debris. That's going to be, as far away from the radar site this is, that's got to be lofted well into the cloud. I mean, maybe a few thousand feet. And as we continue to move our way back to the other tornado that we're looking at towards Stockton, there you can see another debris signature kind of hanging out with that rotation. There you go. And that's right north of East Parker Road. That is that Hasselbeck Road or Mossbach Road. That's Mossbach Road, Eden Road. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. And this is approaching Stockton, Illinois. So, yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of you thinking, well, you know, I live in Muscatine County. Why are they doing this? Well, because we have viewers in this area. And by the FCC definition, this is technically our viewing area. So we must cover it as much as we cover wherever you live, even though you might be looking up at a clear sky right now or some blue. But Stockton, you need to be taking shelter because here comes debris. That's where our circulation is. So there could certainly be a tornado on the ground. And we've gotten some awesome pictures of this and video from our storm chasers. Anything new, Kyle, out there?
We do. This is, I don't want to make this very clear. It's unconfirmed, but we were getting unconfirmed reports of possibly a large wedge tornado on the ground. Again, we've seen some indication of that, but I can't say for sure. That's not coming from the National Weather Service.
I think what favors that is as far away from the radar site is as clear data as we're getting.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, because once we get up into those fringe counties, really to the north especially, because we have all these bluffs and hills, east and west not so bad, but when you get further to the north, it is more difficult to pick up on this. One thing I want to note here too, I'm going to take a look here kind of at what's next to come. We've been focused on this as this continues to move into far eastern Joe Daviess County. Again, here probably within the next, probably about 4 o'clock, Eric. Do you think we could, we think we'd be back probably by then, or I think we might have that out of the area.
I think it'd be out by
4 to 4:15.
I mean, right now we're talking about Lena, Illinois for the strongest circulation, but we're still dealing with that one near Stockton.
Yeah, if possible, let's take max 2 full because this will be better to see with the entire screen in view. And here's what we have happening, folks. I'm going to take the warning off, and we've got, this is the satellite picture and just shows you a good indication of, okay, look at that tornado emergency now for Carroll, Joe Daviess, and Stevenson County. This is a particularly dangerous situation. We're going to stay with this, and I'm going to go back to radar and give you this information fresh from the National Weather Service. Folks, it's a very dangerous and life-threatening situation now as we've got reports of a large tornado. Okay, here we go. Tornado warning remains in effect until 4:15. This is going to be for, again, Carroll, Joe Daviess, and Stevenson County. This warning is in effect until 4:15. At 3:43, which is right now, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Lena, or 11 miles to the northwest of Freeport. This is moving east at 25 miles an hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. You folks in that area, you need to take shelter right now. You need to be in your shelters. Again, from the weather, this is weather spotters are confirming this tornado from the impacts with this. You are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to homes, businesses, and vehicles is likely, and complete destruction is possible with this tornado. Folks, very dangerous. And again, this is a very rare thing. Wow, look at that. That right there tells you where it's at. West Point. It is over top of West Point, getting ready to cross 73. You folks in that area, and I know we've got some viewers out here, you need to be in your shelter right now. I bet you we're going to see some pretty impressive correlation coefficient, the debris tracker here. I bet you we're going to see some impressive, there's a big drop out there. I'm going to go back down to the Quad Cities radar because we're right in between. But folks, this is as serious as it gets. I've, got to say, I've been tracking these for a while, and I don't know that for our area I've ever seen. Eric, look at the circulation right now here on storm relative velocity. Oh, yeah. This is probably one of the most impressive I've seen in our area. Maybe going back to the Keota, Iowa EF4 tornado, where we saw one that looked similar, and I'm just kind of sampling Let me see if I can do this, if it's going to let me know. It doesn't matter, folks. Very intense circulation. A very large and destructive tornado is on the ground. You see that banner there marked particularly dangerous situation. That's exactly what this is. It is also, we call them a tornado emergency. This is a tornado emergency with a large tornado on the ground.
I do want to interject something. I do want to interject something.
Yes.
If you're in Carroll County, I would not be worried. This is all north of you and staying north. You just got put into that warning because of the spatial relative position of that tornado when it was issued. But I think right now, Carroll County, no need to worry.
I want to mention too, since we're talking Joe Daviess County here, Galena, you're now, I would say, in the clear. You're in the all clear for this round. Again, we still have that other round to go. But back here into areas just to the east of Stockton and the West Point area, getting ready to cross here, cross over the 73, Illinois 73. This is now, again, Winslow, Lena Winslow area here is where this is at. I know this circulation that you see here is one of the most impressive circulations I've ever seen for our area. So we have what is likely a very destructive tornado on the ground right now. Again, you folks out here into western Stevenson County, again, just outside of our viewing area, but you need to be in shelter right now. Eric.
All right, yeah, so let's, I was looking here into portions of Joe Daviess County. There were a few little areas of debris showing up, but again, they're starting to wind down. There is one there right on 78, so whatever was south of Stockton moving north, and there's Highway 78 right there. There's 20 on the way behind the menu there is the big circulation that we've been talking about. As a matter of fact, as I can walk this over, I can show you that a lot of debris there around West Point and Lena and that part of the county there, Stevenson County. We will probably, if we can, start a 4 o'clock newscast here in a few minutes now that things are getting out of our viewing area for the most part, and kind of regroup, because this is not it. This is round one. It's been limited to just a few of our northern counties, and that was pretty much how things looked on all of our models. Now, as we go through the late afternoon, maybe by 5 o'clock, through the early to mid-evening, we're going to be dealing with another round of storms, and that will be off to our west. As a matter of fact, why don't I just go ahead and give you the update, because again, we've been getting a lot of people on our Facebook wanting to know about that. And as we just go home here and take a look at the Quad Cities as a central part of the radar map, there is the next line coming our way. And within that line of thunderstorms along a cold front, we do have embedded tornado warnings. You see the red boxes there with all the yellow. So there's no way that many of us, if any, will escape at least getting some severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, these storms very strong as they continue to move into, again, a pretty favorable environment. Maybe not so much up north anymore, but again, most of us who have not seen much, if anything, in terms of storm activity today, our atmosphere is primed and ready for this cold front to kind of slam on through. So that will almost guarantee that we're going to see another patchwork of severe thunderstorm warnings with embedded tornado warnings, and we want to get prepared to be here for you for that. And again, the ETA right now, you can see just a few counties away from the western expanse of the TV6 viewing area. So probably give it about another hour or so toward 5 o'clock, and we might be back with you with nonstop coverage through much of the evening hours. But again, right now we are dealing we were dealing with some tornadic activity up toward Joe Daviess County, but now that seems to have shifted far enough east that now the warning has been cut off too, not only for northern Carroll County, but for much of Joe Daviess County. Kyle?
Yeah, I just want to give you an update here on this. We continue with a large tornado on the ground, continues to be on the ground. We have seen debris in Lena with this potential tornado. They are noting debris. Here is shear tracker, and again, that's all. It's maxed out. So this is we got the confirmation there. We got spotters on it. Debris is being picked up. Lena Winslow High School. This is going to move right over top of Lena Winslow High. It's on top of Lena Winslow High School right now. I mean, it is right over top, and that's not good. Look at what time it is. I'm sure there's still teachers and students there, so not good. Eventually off towards the Damascus area, Red Oak, Buckeye, and then again near the Freeport area. This is outside our viewing area, but we know folks up in Joe Daviess County, Carroll County, you know people in these areas. You need to call them and let them know a very damaging tornado, large tornado is heading their way. So we continue with that, but we've got a good lock on where that is, and it's right now over top of Lena, Illinois.
Okay, and our Rockford station will be picking up any damage or any stories from this situation there toward Lena that will need to be picked up. And for the time being, we will be able to get you back to Jeopardy for about 10 minutes here. But nonetheless, we will be getting to our 4 o'clock newscast, and again, have plenty of updates throughout the late afternoon and the evening, and especially once those next storms get into the area, we'll be back on the air to track those through the KWQC TV6 viewing area. For now, for Kyle and Deanna, I'm Eric Maitland. We'll see you soon.
For the latest weather information, stay with KWQC TV6, online, on air, and everywhere you go with the TV6 First Alert Weather app.
That's right.
Governor's 8.
He liked